we're back with some more of our adventures around BYOC, and we've actually managed to find ourselves a little gathering of invite players having some little discussions. Hope they don't mind if we go and interrupt. Jay, hello. We're here to interrupt your little discussions. How's it going?
Good.
Good. Obviously, you know, you guys had a pretty good day yesterday, ended up top seed, ended up doing pretty well. How are you feeling today? You well rested?
I am definitely well rested. I passed out as soon as I hit my hotel.
Beautiful, beautiful. What's your plan for the day? Is it just going to be a case of, you know, grinding some demos, getting some MG in, or are you just going to go straight into the game, see how it goes?
For me, it's just mental preparation.
Fair play, fair play. We're going to move on over to some of our Witness Gaming players over here. We've got ourselves Papi. Sorry, just going to interrupt a second. How's it going? Are you feeling well rested? Are you ready for the day? You've been, I saw a little bit earlier, you were grinding the demos.
Yeah, we watched the demos back. We made a lot of mistakes yesterday, especially against tf2easy. The games are pretty slow and unclean. Yeah, no, we watched the demos. We're not watching anything for Froyo yet because we don't know if we're going to win the upper bracket. So just one step at a time. We're feeling good as a team though. We think we can win the event. Just put the effort in, see what happens. But me personally, I'm a bit sick, so it's like annoying. Sometimes we have to pause the game for 30 seconds so I can blow my nose. So if you have any really small pauses, it's because of me. I'm sorry about that.
That's not ideal, but at least you're honest. At least you're honest. Obviously, you had two really close maps versus Froyo. Had a little chat with Salentes at the end of yesterday, and he obviously it's a bit of a heartbreaker when you lose games out of that close, but he was very optimistic. More than anything, he was like, we were great, we just made those couple mistakes. Is that very much how you're viewing it?
Yeah, I mean, it's group stage. We made some absolute clangers, especially Sunshine. Like, I made some really bad comms on the Golden Cap, and then we had a drop to Habib and choke when we were chasing, and then Viaduct, we just choked. Basically, we just forgot how to play the game after 2-0 up, so we're just going to watch the game back. But I'm very optimistic. It's group stage. I think they thought they'd probably come in 5-0 everyone. At least that's what we heard online, like they're very confident. So maybe they're surprised how good Europe is. Maybe they're annoyed how we play last. Hopefully they're a bit annoyed. But yeah, no, we're very confident in our map pool as well. We'll play anything against them. Like, it's fine. Even if we go into grand finals, if we go from upper bracket, great. If we go from lower bracket, I mean, obviously we need to beat tf2easy. They're a great team. Yeah. But hopefully we can make it to grand finals. We're happy with it. Like, we can't lose a veto, basically. Like, we can play them on any map. We don't have any map pool weakness, so we're very confident. Yeah.
Cool, absolutely perfect. Well, great to see you optimistic, super into it, you know, really feeling the LAN. Yeah, thanks very much for having a chat with us.
Cheers, thank you.
Cool.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to a lovely continuation of our Insomnia tournament of Team Fortress 2. I'm TurboTabs. I'm joined with Kado, Cadus, Jason. How are we doing, sir?
I'm doing good. This is the clash of the EU Titans, so this is where we get serious. This is where LAN gets serious.
Yes, it does. It's Witness Gaming versus TF2easy. If you've been living under a rock, these two teams are the top EU contenders that have been battling out each other online. But before we talk about the teams themselves, Cadus, this is a LAN event. This changes things a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like, everything is always so much more serious on LAN. I mean, these guys have been competing against each other online. More about that in a second, but I mean, I know just from talking to people how much more motivated people are for a LAN. And when you get to this stage of a bracket in a LAN, where you start to look like, you know, one more win gets you into the upper bracket final, like I said, this is where teams really, they will be pulling out like everything they have.
Now, this is the upper bracket round, so they still have that, you know, that safety net of the lower bracket, whoever gets knocked out here, and can make that redemption arc. But is this actually playtime now? Are they people playing seriously when it comes to these two teams, or do you think they're still going to hold back a bit, or maybe, you know, experiment a bit?
Yeah, for sure. I think on the one hand, there will be like a mental component where they're, you know, we still have a lower bracket, so maybe not as much pressure as we're going to see at the very end of the tournament in the players' minds. But in terms of their desire to win and how it impacts their tournament run, they'll want to win. Like I said, they will pull out. Like, if they have a secret strat, they're probably going to use it in this game, unless it's like comfy or they really think they can win without it. Like, I think they do not want to lose this game. They do not want to go drop. They do not want to go down to lower bracket. They want that big map pick advantage in the upper bracket final. Sorry, in the grand final at the end. And like I said, this is one of the two key stops on the way for these teams.
All right, so Witness Gaming and tf2easy, they're no strangers to each other, but some of them are kind of strangers to LAN, however. We've got some new, fresh LAN faces. Are you, any of those sorts of quarrels been quelled over the LAN period? Like, does Nubby seem like he's a bit shaken at LAN, or has everybody got those LAN jitters out, do you reckon?
I mean, whatever they have in them in terms of jitters should be out by now, so I feel like at this point in the tournament, this is where we start to get a little bit make or break for how a player is performing at the LAN. There's still time to recover, but yeah, for those newbies, your nubbies, your gazzies, your Josh in terms of like top level LAN, this will be his first like real high stakes.
I think it's all of them just about. I think only Salentes is the only one really coloured throughout all these players. But we're saying so many names. Let's actually get into the meat of these two teams. Let's start with Witness Gaming, the champions of the EU sector. They won the ETF2 season last season. They didn't win it the previous season, but before that they picked up the Salentes man, the man that actually was masterminding tf2easy before that. It's a weird array of players kind of stuck together for LAN, but they're doing well so far. What do you think of this team?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of this team. Like, I have my own little associations to them, but that aside, like, I said this before on the broadcast. I think if we'd had more LANs, I think we would have seen a period of dominance from this core, this kind of Papi, Tomas. I guess Domo can be included in that core. Like in this overall core, I think we would have seen periods of European dominance from this team over the past year, 2 years, if there had been more LANs, because these guys, they're motivated by LAN. When there was online seasons, okay, they won some of them, on some of them they off-classed, on others they had weird rosters that maybe they wouldn't have committed to if there was like a nice tournament coming up. But yeah, these guys are quality, and the last like 2 months, basically ever since it was confirmed that NA team was coming, they've been grinding like, at least the theory, they've been grinding immensely. And as you said, Salentes is a massive player for them, swapping over from tf2easy. Of course, they have a decent replacement of their own, but yeah, so was a huge player. But someone I was really impressed with actually was Ixie, because when I first came back to the scene, I was kind of evaluating the rosters, and everyone else on that team I'm very quite familiar with, or I know their reputation is very, very good, whereas Ixie was someone who...
It was a question mark.
Exactly, it was a big question mark, and I was kind of thinking to myself, is this someone who can actually be the flank scout of a team that wants to be a world champion? And I mean, so far he's looking like, you know.
Yeah, he's doing pretty well. He's pretty hot at that, all this stuff. He's even reined in that old sort of stereotype of those Italian scouts a little bit as well. So the boys impressed me so far. Just a quick roster rundown for anybody at home that hasn't been paying attention. We do have Ixie and Tomas on scouts. The soldiers are, of course, Papi and Salentes, and the demo man will be Domo, and the medic is Mula, which they were a bit worried about visa issues for a hot second there, but it all worked out. But there are obviously, how can you talk about these teams and not talk about the 2 years and all these players that could have been on the roster? Do you think like there's any players from a past time, like maybe Lucas or any of these names that you were kind of hoping to see at LAN, or would have been a benefit to them?
I mean, yeah, I mean, you said a good one there with Lucas. Don't get me wrong, Domo is insane, and in terms of team coordination, Domo probably...
He's tidy, he's very tidy demo man.
Yeah, he does his job, he does it very well. He's able to elevate his game, but I mean, there's no taking away from the fact that if Witness don't have a good performance, Lucas was a player that they'll, you know, he's not a player they wanted to get rid of, let's put it that way.
Yeah, it's just circumstances happen.
Yeah, he left for his own reasons. They have an amazing replacement in Domo, switching over from medic, he's been playing medic for quite a while. But yeah, I mean, that is someone who, you know, they would have kept around if they could have.
Now, speaking of circumstances, let's head on over to tf2easy. Now, this is a team that has not had easy. They've had players leave, they've had players rejoin, all this stuff like that. They've obviously had a bit of beating a little bit by Froyo and Witness in that group stage at all. And when you think of this team, like, what do you think their mental state is like coming into this LAN?
I'm not sure, like into the LAN or
well, just into the LAN and after the LAN, like so far.
Into the LAN, I'm sure they're feeling good. After group stages, I don't think they'll let it get to themselves too much. Like, they didn't have the best performance. They had a close game with Witness. They got kind of rumbled by Froyo, and we've seen Witness and Froyo go very close, so that might have disheartened them a little bit, but it's group stages. Like I said, it's
false scrims.
Yeah, it's very easy to put that stuff out of your mind in terms of mental. If they don't win this game, I think their mental starts to take damage. But yeah, this is the game really where it's going to be decided.
So to the average player that's just looking at it on the screen, what is the difference between these two things? Obviously, they're all great TF2 players, but do they play like a different style or different format? Are they a different sort of maturity emotionally? What could you tell the difference between tf2easy compared to Witness?
Yes, for sure. Like Witness are just a lot more of a structured team in terms of how they set themselves up. They play a very traditional European style, or an evolution of the traditional European style. They're happy to stalemate. They're very happy to have very solid holds and make sure that they can get round resets and force new mid-fights without having to take risks. They're very they try to be very, very optimal in terms of percentages in their play. Whereas on the side of tf2easy, okay, there is still some of that sort of ingrained European ideas.
Yeah.
But they're far more of like a aggressive team. They're more willing to take like dirty engagements. They do some, in my opinion, suboptimal but surprising things to catch you off guard. Certain things with like pyro sniper combos, things that you don't really think about and wouldn't expect in the cookie cutter setup, but they almost work because of that. They're a team who's far more inclined to do that, particularly with, and then we haven't mentioned that much, Josh, who is the caller. He's always had that style of just getting everyone coordinated together and just going for it.
Yeah. Let's get into the roster of tf2easy while we're talking about Josh. Obviously, Josh is the spearhead, the leader for that team. He will be playing the pocket soldier. Yoruma's obviously going to be Nubby, our unknown quantity that we kind of questioned a bit earlier. The scouts, Gazi, Moralexi, nobody's really questioning these two players. They've been around for the squad for a long time. Seeds, tried and true medic now. He's actually been around the block all over the place, and he's still turning up for LAN. And then Demo, Nas boy.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be an interesting matchup with Nasboy and Domo. I feel like they're fairly evenly matched, and they each suit their team's play style quite well. Like, I'm sure they could both do a fine job on the other teams, but they're both very well suited to each other's play styles, I would say. But you kind of touched on it there. The unknown quantity Nubby, I feel like he could be a massive make or break in this tournament, because he's kind of known for having quite an erratic play style, and I mean that in a good way to an extent. Like, he will do surprising things. He will try very aggressive, for example, fast rollouts to mids and things like this. He will try these plays, and you know, anything aggressive comes with its risks, and it comes down to, do his mechanics get him through these situations? And obviously, when we talk about like Langis and things like that, it's the mechanics that go like, okay, people can get tilted and mentally boomed, but realistically, it's the mechanics that you have to say, are they going to be able to mechanically perform the same way they do online? So if Nubby can hit peak form, he can be a massively impactful player for them. Like, I cannot understate how impactful he can be, but that can be for better or worse depending on how good they're playing.
So if you're, obviously we're talking about these two teams, we're covering these two teams, but there's a big American elephant in the room, and they're watching the games alongside these two teams. Do you think they're actually secretly rooting or want to prefer a certain matchup going in at all? Like, is there a preferred enemy for them playing into a match?
What, for tf2easy and
as in, like, if you were Froyo and you were like, oh, I want to play against this team because I think it's just a bit easier for us.
They want to play tf2easy. Like, I mean, if they think they have a better chance of beating tf2easy, that's for sure. They're playing tf2easy right now in a warm-up scrim. They had their pick of the litter. Witness didn't get a warm-up scrim from anyone at LAN. No one else was around. Froyo could have picked either. They picked tf2easy, and I think that's an indication. One, maybe they don't want Witness getting a nice warm-up. Two, they don't mind showing their stuff to tf2easy because they're expecting to meet Witness later on in the tournament in the more significant games. So I think, I think that's my interpretation anyway of what Froyo were thinking about these guys.
Obviously, we're in the upper bracket now. That means multiple maps, Kato. We've got best of 3 here, and that means map picks, map bans. And before, it was a little bit, everybody was tasting all sorts of different maps, seeing what there is, dipping their feet a bit. And now it probably does come down to brass tacks. What do you think you're good at? What do you think you're bad at? What do you think these two teams are good and bad at?
I think, just to touch on something really quickly.
Oh yeah, of course.
Now that we're in best of 3, before in group stages, each team got to ban 2 maps of their choice before any team could pick a map. Now it's best of 3, each team can only ban 1 map. So if you had 2 bad maps before, you could get rid of both of them, whereas now, the enemy can pick it. So going into this series, it's fairly straightforward for these guys actually. Witness don't like Metalworks at all, and tf2easy are kind of fond of Metalworks to the extent they were actually prepared to play it against Froyo, which was an interesting decision for its own reasons. But for Witness, it's a very clear ban of Metalworks, almost definitely. And for for tf2easy, traditionally they've banned Viaduct against this team. I don't think they hate the map altogether. They just know that they can't compete with Witness on it. At least that's historically how things have been over the past months.
I'd imagine that that game they played against Froyo the other day as well probably scared them off a bit.
Yeah, that will only reinforce that view, because I mean, this is what happened in ECF Grand Finals. Those were the maps that were banned initially. And yeah, seeing that performance yesterday from Witness, I don't think that will have encouraged anyone on tf2easy that that's the way to go.
Did they not have any sort of fixable things on these TF2easy maps or these Witness gaming matchups when they played these different maps? Did you ever look at any things that like, maybe they could actually quickly turn the tide of this map favour if they just fix these few things? Is there a map like that?
Wait, do you mean in terms of the
As
maps
in,
that are
like, is there
banned,
any
or?
map that it usually traditionally falls, you know, like one team side, but fix a few things, suddenly it's looking pretty good for the other team? I think you could actually like almost switcheroo.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's probably like a couple of maps floating around the map pool where these guys maybe are not huge fans of the map, but they could, if they've been doing some work behind the scenes, they could surprise us. Like Gully is actually quite an interesting map in this whole conversation, because tf2easy have had notoriously not the best statistical performances on it against Witness, but I know just from hitting the streets that Witness, they don't really fancy playing tf2easy on Gully that much, and the stats would all back them up to actually take that matchup, but I know they're not a huge fan of it, so Gully definitely is a map that poses interesting question marks, and if we see Gully, I mean, my money would be on Witness for that, but it would be very interesting to see who's touched up what, and that could definitely be a big swing map if we see it.
Okay, now I'm going to make you look very smart here. I'm actually going to write down your things and call you out at the end, but do you think you could give us map predictions and see if you look so big brain, what's going to happen? What maps are we going to play before we even see them on screen?
I can take my best guess. I think tf2easy, unless they have something cooking up that's a surprise, I think they'll be very encouraged by Snake in the groups yesterday, that they might take that. But I just want to add a caveat.
Okay.
That if they don't pick Snake, maybe they're cooking up a secret granary pick.
A secret granary pick against Tomas, the granary expert?
Potentially. And for on the side of Witness, I think it's probably going to be... The thing is, they have such a good map pool. Other than Metalworks, they can play all the maps. But I think, from looking at like
it's got to be Gully.
results and
It's
things
just got
like
to be that Gully map, surely.
I'm gonna go in a controversial direction, and I'm gonna say I think they go Process.
Oh.
We haven't really seen it.
No, we haven't. It's actually fallen out of flavour a bit. It used to be the map, and now teams aren't really favouring it too much now. But it's not really hated, just kind of gets on the chopping block, and maybe we'll see that now on this best of 3. All right, so I've got your Smarty Pants results later. I think the only thing I would default is probably, or change myself, is maybe the Process for Gully, but I'm a very, very safe analytical mind. Simple, you could say. But so talk about me with this meta. These obviously 2 top quality TF2 teams at this tournament, all this stuff. We're going to see the meta push to its limit. And the meta right now, I guess, or the highlight, or the thing that's kind of new on the block, is this 5-minute timer on these round things. And we've seen a little bit of it in the EU final, not so much from the greens, the group stage, but people like to run down that clock. Resets are happening in the world of TF2 again. What do you think of that?
I think it's interesting. It is interesting. When we first trialed the rule set in EU, we obviously had this peculiar overtime setting that kind of dissuaded teams from doing that to as much of an extent. But yeah, now that we have this 5-minute round timer, there is very much the potential to play into that element of the rule set, play for round resets, because if you're able to do that, then you're essentially able to isolate the game into only needing 3 key components, which are mid-fights you have to be good at, your holds, or particularly last holds, to actually force the reset of the round, just stalemate it out for 5 minutes, and then conversion, so like last pushes. Hypothetically, and this is something that we'll potentially see Witness do more so than tf2easy, because like I said, tf2easy tend to flow a bit more out of the traditional EU safe mold, whereas Witness play a little bit more into it, an evolved version of it, because it's been years since that mold was kind of created. But yeah, like for example, Witness are the kind of team that will very happily, if it's like a Sunshine or a Snake Water or something like this with a last that's kind of quite easy to hold, difficult to push out of, they will very happily just play for that 5-minute round reset. Even if they have like 3 picks, I don't think you'll see them push. I think the only condition under which Witness would push off last is if and only if they think they can get mid from this situation they have on last. So e.g. a full wipe, they can take second for free and continue the momentum onto mid. I think that's pretty much the only situation we see them push off last, unless there's like some extraneous factor like time pressure or something like that.
Do you think say if you came into this and your mid fights weren't looking too hot, does it dissuade you? Can you not really rely on the round reset as much? Or do you think it's still better to go for that round reset and just take the mid fight anyway, even if your mid fights aren't looking that hot?
I think that is a good point, to be fair. I think maybe the needle could swing a little bit. If you're having a really rough game on mids, I do see a perceivable world where one of these callers, Papi or Josh, maybe if they felt more inclined to stay away before, maybe they would err away from it if they weren't confident in their mids. Maybe if they get 3 picks, as I gave the example of before, maybe they would use that and take second back. On some maps, I think some teams hate being on second, and they find it actually more uncomfortable than last. But yeah, if they're struggling on mids, then, I mean, the thing is, if they're struggling on mids, they're going to struggle altogether.
Yeah.
But yeah, in this rule set, mid fights become so important because you always have the option to force, not always, but you always have the option to try and force the new mid fight. So mid fights just become such a key fight in the game. But yeah, you're quite right. If you're having rough mids, it can swing the needle a lot.
All right, now you can't talk about meta without Team Fortress 2 unlocks, and I think the hot new thing right now, which seems kind of a no-brainer, but it's just running 2 battalions backups. Believe it or not, I don't think Witness Gaming really liked doing this at first, but tf2easy, these other teams, and the EU Sphere in the TF2 World season were kind of spamming out these banners and really taking advantage of these last whole banner things. Like, do you think it's just all's fair in the game of TF2, or do you think this is even a bit obnoxious for you?
I mean, for my taste, I've never been a fan of banners. Not in terms of, I don't think they're good, as in good for winning. I'm not a fan of what they bring to the game, at least not in the trade-off, but there's no denying that they're very, very strong, and especially now that we're in this 5-minute round time of rule set, it's so tempting if you're in a last hold just to take a battalion's backup, maybe 2, maybe a backup and a conch, and just, essentially you get 2 little mini Ubers. Like, we're almost playing like another game where we have like 3 ultimates on last sometimes. And it's like, if you're holding last, there's almost no trade-off, because you take the banner, you get your easy spam to feed the banner, and you don't need gunboats.
And even the banners come with initial perks, you said, and those soldiers a little bit tanky. It's nice in a little spam trade, you know?
Yeah.
You don't die to those body shots as much to the snipers and all that class.
Yeah.
All right, but we have seen a bit of experimentation. Feroyo came with some really nice answers for some of these holds in the, I think it was the Sunshine game. Direct hits were coming out and things like that. Is this the sort of crazy things that we're going to see players and teams dip into to deal with these sort of moments in the game? Maybe even run these crits and start running just a bit higher octane sort of gaming? Or do you think it's just going to come down to just give them the reset, get the mid-fight, do better next time?
Yeah, no, I think you're spot on with that point. I think it will force interesting things. Like you said, we saw the direct hit yesterday. Man treads is something we haven't really spoken about, but I know that Nubby and Josh are big fans of the man treads for certain sacks. It prevents, for anyone not in the know, prevents you from getting knocked back by scouts, so very easy to sack onto a medic. And very easy to not get knocked back by a scout with the man treads. So yeah, the direct hit from Forotech yesterday was just one of many things that we can look forward to.
Well, let's look forward no longer. Let's head on over to our casters and they'll run you quickly through our next section of the game, and then we'll shortly go with them. Take it away, boys.
The pick bans just coming in as we speak. Sorry for that very slight delay. It turns out tf2easy and Forotech needed a little bit of last-minute practice, so decided to start a scrim against each other a little bit too late. So it looks like, as we expected, the ban of Metalworks comes in from Witness, their permaban. tf2easy's permaban of Product then also comes in, and then tf2easy pick Snakewater. Witness then pick Process, apparently, and ban Granary, Gullywash, and Sunshine is the decider.
Yeah, this is pretty atypical. I mean, what we're interested in seeing here is that Gullywash, again, was a ban from Witness. I mean, we've not seen them really play this map. The Metalworks permaban is kind of normal, so that's just been happening time and time again. So I'm excited to see these maps come out. Like we said before, these maps are kind of like the ones we were expecting to see a lot more of. I mean, in the last series that we saw, even in the open, we were seeing Sunshine, Snakewater, Process. It's literally the same thing every time. I
mean, I don't believe that this is the correct graphic we have up on the stream right now. It looks like, that was unfortunately an incorrect game that we had up on the screen, but I can repeat verbally for anyone at home. Metalworks and Product get banned first, followed by Snakewater and Process being picked. So Cadis is exactly right about this. Witness did want to pick Process instead of Gullywash pick, and then that allows Granary and Gullywash to be banned out, and Sunshine is the decider. So, headline news is Snakewater, Process, Sunshine.
Yep, same 3 maps. No big surprises, but it's good that we're going to see some Snakewater action between these 2 teams. I mean, it's a very, very slow map. We saw it before in ETF2L when we saw it in this tournament. It's a slow map, and these teams are both very tactical. So we're going to see what they can kind of pull out on these maps. I mean, their previous games have been pretty solid when they met before in the groups. It was, you know, a relatively even matchup, I think.
Yeah, I mean, these teams have been so back and forth for so long. Of course, as we've had to mention so many times, this is like the EU rivalry. Both of them took a season off each other this year. Witness obviously coming out on top in most recent times in the season grand final, and of course in group stages just yesterday. But the best of 3s, they could make a bit of a difference.
Yeah, they could indeed. I mean, when it comes to best of 3s, you've got like this whole new mentality you got to go into. You got to kind of reset if you lose on the first game and come into the second game with a fresh breath of fresh air. I mean, God knows how they make it through best of 5s with that kind of pressure on your shoulders. I mean, I think we see so many like 3-1s. I think the last best of 5 that actually went to all 5 maps was I-63, and then so that's been a very, very long time ago. So this best of 3 is going to tell us a lot. It's going to give a lot of information to the other teams as well, because on the other side of the bracket we've got Froyotech versus Fifth that's happening, and you know, I think Froyotech are probably going to take that one. They're probably going to glean a lot of information from these ones. So if they watch these games back, I mean, Witness, they might not want to reveal anything here.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Froyotech's 5th game is quite a swift affair. We see Froyotech turn up over there in the crowd, getting a look at this game, see if they can glean any information on what these teams are doing, because that will be the next matchup. The winner of this goes into the winners bracket final, which will be our last game of the day, and whoever wins that gets a nice long day off tomorrow, getting to watch all the games, and they get those 2 crucial bans going into our best of 5 grand final.
Ooh, that's a pretty big advantage to get going into the grand finals. I mean, being able to get rid of the 2 maps that you hate the most, godsend. And Witness Gaming, I think, are going to be kind of vying probably to try and yoink that, because they do not want to play Metalworks no matter what happens.
Yeah, in the case that Froyotech makes it that far and they can force Metalworks into that grand final map pool, I think they're basically starting off 1-0. I mean, that would be a very important advantage to get. And we can show you some stats right about now. Bring them up on the stream. This is the Witness Gaming crew. Who do you think is the star player of Witness, Lucky, if you had to pick one?
Oh, it's got to be Tomas. That boy is destructive. My God, he's just been so good on land. He was so good in the season. You see his average kills at 28.4. Sweet God, that guy can frag. I mean, also Mulo is just absolutely turning up. That guy is incredible. He's been kind of on the up and up and up, and you know, and of course we've got Salentes, X7 talent, claiming several LAN finals himself, several ETF2L golds. But what about you? You got any favorites?
I mean, I've got to pick Salentes out of all those. Obviously, the returning champion from 7, the only one we've got turning back up again for I69 from I65 so many years ago, and I think it's so close fought between Sil and Tomas for the best player in Europe, and I don't think the same can be said for anyone tf2easy, which I do think gives Witness the edge.
Yeah, I think it does indeed. I mean, if we look over to the tf2easy roster right now, you can see we've got Seeds, Nasboy, Josh, Nubby, Gazzy, and Morale. If you've been in the scene, these are household names to you by now, but I've got to say, Morale is a pretty standout performer on this roster.
Oh yeah, Morale would definitely be up there. If he didn't have to fight off against Tomas and just have that mantle to take, Morale would be such an impressive scout that we'd be talking about all the time, but unfortunately Tomas is just such a beast that he steals the limelight almost. Nubby as well, of course, has been an up-and-comer for a while now, obviously makes lots of flashy highlights and plays online, but on his LAN debut, I don't know, things have cooled down a little bit. We haven't really seen the Nubby we know and love so far. If Nubby can turn up, that might make a very big difference.
Yeah, I do agree, especially if they're gonna in future play maps like Granary, which we might see in the lower bracket potentially if they do get knocked down, or going forwards against Froyo. Granary could be a map that could look really good for them. So using Nubby on Soldier, but like you mentioned, not having the hottest LAN start, but I feel like he could definitely turn up. I mean, this is his first LAN, so it's pretty different playing on LAN the very first time. When you turn up, you've got the noise of everyone else, you've got to sit there with the rest of your team, and you're all communicating. It's a little bit everyone's on edge, and usually on day one. So we'll see what happens going forward with them. But also, of course, they got Josh, main call supreme, Josh,
Yeah.
and Seed's been renowned as an excellent medic for European history.
Yeah, I mean, Josh has been the most long-running main caller we've had in Europe. He's been around since like donkey's years, made his first playoffs appearance in 2016, so he's been up there consistently for the last 6 years. Hasn't quite made it to the top until very recently, like only on this iteration of his teams with the Nerd Rage and TF2easy. He's been leading them to victory, but of course he is probably the second best main caller in Europe, if you want to give the title to Papi.
Yeah, I mean, well, we did see that season where they seemed to be extremely dominant. They did manage to beat Witness previously in another grand final before, but that was without Josh, with Salentes instead. So Salentes swapping over to the side with Papi and stuff, favouring the Thomas Scout. And I've got to mention, while we're here talking about Witness Gaming as well, Ixie was such a good pickup for this roster. He has slid right in and is right at home with this team.
Yeah, I mean, Ixie was like, never gets the attention he deserves because he's like the 6th best player on his roster, but he's like such a beast, man. Like
He's
yesterday
so
he was popping off. It's such a like an unexpected budget pickup that just really goes so perfectly for you. He was pounding on a Sunshine map yesterday.
Yep.
Like just gets a 5k on 1 mid out of nowhere,
Just cleans up as well. He was
cleans up, and then next round, like, spawn camps the demo, kills the medic straight after. Like, Ixie's been popping off in some of these important games. It hasn't obviously been enough to beat out Froyo, but having people like Ixie turning up as well as all those stars we've already mentioned is going to be so nice for Witness.
Yeah, it's going to be so good. I mean, with Ixie on this roster as well, I think it adds a whole other dimension because he kind of likes to play this this kind of close flank scout. So like on mid fights, he won't stray too far away. If Thomas kind of leaves position, which is very rare, Ixie will be there to kind of pick up the pieces and be there for his medic formula and stuff. So keeping them all secure for the entirety of the game, and definitely a very solid core that they've got going on. Papi and Sil also have been taking their mid-fights way more aggressively, I feel like, on LAN. When I've been watching their games, they're going for these faster mid-fights, especially on Sunshine. They do favour that just immediate bomb rather than the clockwork meta mid that we were talking about earlier. So excited to see where they go with this first map on Snakewater. I know both teams hate it, so I have no idea why they picked it.
Well, I mean, I guess your personal preference doesn't really come into play when the fact you both these teams have to ban their permabans, obviously. Yep. Product and Metal getting sent instantly. And then Witness are still kind of playing with this chicken football of Gully Wash. They don't know whether they like it or they dislike it at the moment.
Well, Witness need to, I don't know, if they're hiding it or if they genuinely hate it. I mean, Domo is definitely a good demo man. We always talk about demos and soldiers when we talk about Gully Wash, but more so on the demo man front. And Domo is definitely capable. So I'm very confused as to why they're continuing to ban it. Maybe they just don't feel it, or maybe they want to save it for a rainy day.
I think they're probably saving it. I mean, with the stats we were talking about earlier, there's Witness have never lost a round after winning mid. TF2easy have only ever won 1 round after losing mid in pretty big sample sizes like this. I'm not just saying this, and they've played the map like twice. Like both those stats are pretty big deals. So, and both of those favor Witness massively. I think it's got to be that they're hiding that for Froyotech.
Yeah, they need to kind of keep that one in the bag because it's going to be a secret weapon coming out. And also, can I just talk about how Salentes on LAN? Holy God, some of these directs and stuff have been crazy. I mean, it definitely changes like the dynamic of teams when these soldiers aren't on ping and you've got all these projectiles, also for the demos I guess, but more so for the soldiers that we talk about. When they're on LAN, they're just entirely different beasts. Scout 1v1s with soldiers are a lot less convincing on LAN than they are online. It's incredible what a difference that makes.
Yeah, we are still waiting on 2 members of TF2easy, so we will be filling for a bit more time. Josh and Nasboy must have gone to the toilet or cigarette break, something like that.
Yeah, classic LAN stuff, you know. It's interesting. I'm sure there's a bet in the chat, but if you're a betting man, what would you say on Snakewater?
Okay. I mean,
what do the stats say?
I don't have the stats on hand, but what I would say is that both of these teams have been very, I don't want to say struggling, but maybe it is struggling. It's very slow. Whenever it gets to these lasts, we've seen resets time and time again on Snakewater versus these two teams, especially in the grand final of the season. But every time Witness were playing that game a lot better, and they came out on top when it did get slowed down. tf2easy have been saying that they don't want to play to Witness's game. They don't want to be forced into that situation where things are slowing down, because they know that Witness are better at that than them, and they think if they can play their own game, keep it going fast, then they'll have a much better chance, and maybe that will be the case. And I really hope that they can find some kind of way to keep things moving, or some way to break this Iron Fortress hold on last, as you call it, and stay in the game in this first map. But at the moment, all evidence points to Witness taking it for me.
Yep, with Witness gaming looking so dominant in the tournament and how they looked in groups, you can't really go against them in this game. But tf2easy, they definitely got what it takes to take a win here. So, and I have faith in morale to just go like pop off, because he has been doing really well this tournament. So, and he's kind of always performed on this roster. He feels like he's very, very much the core. But we'll just have to see how it kind of rolls out, and if we're going to see any more Ixie heavies.
Yeah, the Ixie heavy was an interesting one on Product yesterday. I don't think that was the right time to make that call, but yeah, we might see something interesting that Witness have up their sleeve. I don't think heavy would be one of them on Snakewater, although Sil has been known to run it to the mid, especially at I-65 last LAN, yeah.
Yeah, so that could be something that's on the cards, but I doubt that if they were going to do that, probably not something they'll reveal right now, you know. Probably something they'll leave in the tank, like we said before. People want to hide strats, not give away anything. But we do actually have all 12 players in the server.
Yep, TikTok everyone, come on, let's get readied up.
Let's get readied up, let's go, let's get this match going. Yeah, if we're going forwards though, and we're looking at Process and Sunshine, do you still favour Witness?
Process is a tricky one. It's not something I've seen for a while. I think they played it in week 1 of the regular season at the start of the season, and they won it. I don't know how convincingly they won it. I think that was when they were just trying out to make banners work for the first time, and they did eke out the map, but they didn't seem to be having too much success with the banners that they were like trying to get into their game at the time. Whereas previously tf2easy Process was like one of their picks. It was like one of their go-to maps. They really had the Pyro and Engineer stuff down, and the Pyro and Sniper on their last, I think, at that point, and were just very happy with playing it. But more recently, I don't think they've been getting the dubs on it that they want to. I don't know, so Process could really go either way. And then Sunshine, statistically, Sunshine has always been one of tf2easy's best maps, and the ones that has pretty much always been their first pick up until the playoffs of last season. But then last season, in the playoffs, they suddenly started getting really sloppy on Sunshine. They dropped, well, they didn't drop the game to Flick, I don't think, but it was a very close game at the very least versus the third place team in ETF2L. And then, of course, they picked it once again into Witness in the final, and we all know how that one turned out. Witness took Sunshine there as well. So I think overall, the 3 maps favor Witness slightly. I don't know which one's going which way. But I'm happy to say it's a 2-1 to Witness in some form at the end. What about you?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I mean, Sunshine does look powerful for tf2easy. If they can bring that same energy that they had during the season to Sunshine, then they're definitely in for a treat, getting at least 1 map maybe. So, but I think when it comes to Process and Snakewater, like you said, I think it's going to be Witness Gaming kind of all the way, playing these slower play styles and stuff. I mean, Process is definitely going to allow Ixie and Tomas to kind of pop off a lot more, because it's very scout heavy based. But looks like we are now going live bum freeze.
Yeah, looks like
the
we are
upper bracket
indeed.
round number 2 on the way to mid. We're going to be following Nasboy on the way to this one, so see how fast he can make his way all the way down to lower by the looks of things. And we got Domo rolling out through Saw, so let's see what they can do on this first mid. Slinging some stickies across. No Demo Man in sight for Domo. He can't see anything at all at the moment. We're going to see a Crunchy coming out. Saw just going in really high and deep. And we're going to end up with Josh on the low ground. They're just going to get punched in this corner. Domo is the only casualty on Witness Gaming. And Celeste's with the salvage, just managed to pick up 2. It looks like now the rest of the tf2easy are just going to be retreating out of this mid.
Yeah, nice job from Sil. Everyone comes forwards. Witness Gaming dodge it perfectly. In the meantime, Sil sneaks in behind all the players who are moving forwards on the point, gets that crucial seeds pick as we see, and that gives us the 80% advantage over here for Mula. Walking forwards now are Witness Gaming. We've got the last setup already going up. Ghazi putting up this sentry on the truck side. We've got a sniper of Morale in the other spawn door, and everything is just getting capped up on second now. We'll see the buffs coming in and the Uber any second now.
Yeah, looks like we're getting the sentry gun built up. It's only level 2 at the moment, which is more than good enough, but Sol just found it, so I can do looks like the left-hand side shower is going to be the push. The sentry is trying to get the space. They haven't really found much with this Uber, and they're all stuck on the low ground, not really taking the side, but it looks like Papi's going in very deep. They've got players all over them now. They're starting to swarm this point, and Nubby's going to get on top of it here, trying to do what he can to defend it. Seeds desperately healing the players on that point, but they're just dropping one by one as this fight is still continuing, and now these respawners are going to come in the next couple seconds, so Winners Gaming needs to think about what they're doing and fast. Josh does manage to pick up Domo. Papi juggled in, eats a bunch of rockets, does get the direct to find the kill, and he's somehow still alive and lower, does get scattered down at range, and looks like TF2
Sill's just bombing the point! Sill's on the point! Oh my god, he's gonna get the round!
He gets it! Oh my good lord, Sill! What a gamer!
Sill just jumps out from big door near the bucket side, just gets straight onto the point. Everyone was so focused on other stuff, he just goes over their heads, lands on the point, and that's a free round. That is not how TF2easy should be losing that right at the start of the game.
Yeah, my god, I did not see that coming. Like, I watched him jump in, I was like, he's gonna get blocked 100%, but everyone was in spawn, nothing they could do. And now we're into another mid-fight. Nasboy gets there nice and early. Domo with some great damage to begin with, though, so really locking it down. Seed's gonna jump off that bat so he can't get bombed again this time around, and Mula's gonna do the same, just mirroring each other. High bombs are starting to come in. Still is in the skybox, dropping down, and Seed's is juggled into the other half of the map, and he does get cleaned up here. Now, it's gonna be up to Witness Gamers to just bunker their medic and defend him the best they can. Nasboy's gonna get pressured out. Nubby with a very fast skip bomb into Mula, nearly gets the rockets off, but can't quite in the end.
Yeah, so nice from Sill. Forces Seeds basically into all 5 of those other Witness players, and because all 5 of those Witness players are so bundled around each other, Mula's under no threat at all. They can just frag up all the other kills, and Mula once again has this huge advantage coming into last. They are now walking forwards through Saw, getting this second capped up. Again, we are in the same situation. The sentry coming up from Gazi. Will they be able to delay this Uber as long as they did last time? Because they so nearly had that hold until Sill made that miracle play. If they're able to do that again and push out second, maybe we'll see TF2easy take some momentum in this game. But first of all, they need to secure this last hold.
Yeah, morale up on that sniper is very dangerous. Need to be careful going to the shot. The Uber does go through. They get Domo with the snipe on morale, so he goes down immediately. Josh is just hiding in lower, waiting to pick people up. It looks like they're going to be retreating back out of lobby. This push has been absolutely thwarted.
Yeah, exactly what you want this time. They just drop Domo straight away from the Uber, but it's still going to be a tricky one. They want to find something else to get out onto second here with. Ideally, they don't want to be using instantly. Josh has bombed through, trying to make space, baits the bomb out of Papi, and Nasboy will follow up with that frag. And oh my god, Nubby gets an uphill direct onto Ixie as well to finish off that kill. This is now 2 frags that they're able to get out onto second with. They haven't used the Uber either. They could be running this one forwards into mid, and this is very nice from TF2easy.
Yeah, very, very nice stuff moving out in second there. And they're just going to continue this roll forwards into lower. There are stickies above the door currently, so they need to be careful. Check these stickies, get everyone buffed. And it looks like they are actually just going to be hanging around on second. They do not want to use this ad at all, and they're just going to be holding on second by the looks of things. I mean, a bit of a lost opportunity.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's kind of exactly what TF2easy said they don't want to do. They don't want to be playing this slow game. They don't want to be playing Witness's game. And instead, they opt to give up this 40% advantage that they've just been gifted. I think some respawners were even still in the queue. They could have made some headway there into mid at the very least, or at least tried some kind of sack play, maybe try and kill Domo if they can keep moving. But instead, they are just happy to sit here on second, let Witness take control, and we'll see now with Witness in control of mid what they do opt to do.
Yeah, Domo just peeking in lower just to see what he can find. Tomas in tow as well. They're going to be moving out towards grass by the looks of things. Just trying to spam and prod, and Sill and Papi are just waiting in sort, trying to find an opportunity.
Oh, Toast found the frag here, maybe. No. Okay, they are making a decent amount of space on grass. He nearly caught Nubby there. And in fact, oh!
He gets the force. Excellent stuff there. Papi in with the bomb. Does manage to land the rockets onto Seeds to get that force. And Mula is just all the way out there, rotating into Saw. They are not stopping on this train right now. They're running in. It's so deep. Seeds is not even out of here yet. He does get picked up on bats as well, but the rest of TF2easy have flooded into Saw, and they have started to surround and encompass this Mula medic. So can he survive this? Josh in with the bomb. Can't find any rockets. Mula's dancing around. He's so low. He does get cleaned up in the end. It's a scrappy fight on grass. Gazi's super weak, and morale goes down as well. Nasboy's the last man standing, and he will get cleaned up in the end by the Tomas pistol.
I mean, really poor positioning from TF2easy at the very start of that fight. I believe the Seeds is on Footers, but it's not going to be enough. Here comes the second round for Witness, but yeah, Witness played that so well. TF2easy were way too close after that Uber got forced out of them. and they just split tf2easy right down the middle, taking that Uber in through Saw. They had 2 players ahead of them, a medic and another player, so if they go for that, they kill the medic. If they turn around, they've basically trapped 4 players behind them, they can get 4 kills with the Uber. Either way, it would have been such a brilliant Uber, so Tomas, just a masterclass there in how you want to take a deep scout Uber in, and they do take the round off it immediately with that 6-man wipe here into the 3rd mid.
Yeah, it looks like now we've got some players just sitting on the low ground. We're doing a bit of a slower mid this time around. No one's kind of launched. And as I say that, Sil's going in for another high bomb. He's in that skybox, dropping down like a meteorite into their team. Damage numbers absolutely everywhere.
Oh
nice
my
direct
God.
onto Morale. And Seeds is just going to survive at over 40 HP, but that does mean the Witness Gateway is just going to swarm all over this mid. The saving grace is Mula going down.
Yeah, I mean, we're so busy looking at Sil nuking, but the headline is he doesn't manage to kill Seeds at the very end, and Mula did go down on the other side, so Witness are capping up the very first mid. Gazzy has snuck way, way behind, and I believe they know about it. It looks like they're sending people back, but they just can't find him. In the meantime, Mula has spawned up, but they just don't have anything yet. Seeds, with the 100% advantage, is going to be taking this one forwards. Gaz still running around on second on balcony, it looks like. And here we go, we have the setup on mid, just some sticks going forwards. Papi watching the door to see where they come in from, but the Uber is going to be just coming through. They're trying not to use it, trying to just take this one dry. Gazzy's been found and caught out behind now. It looks like he will get taken down by some chip from Tomas, and the Uber is in on grass, and they're not really finding much with it. They do find Mula right at the end. It's that pipe that does it. Very good job, and that will keep their momentum in their hands. And Nubby is now bombing in behind, trying to punish Papi for chasing the kills, and he does so.
Ixie is in onto Seeds on mid. Can he find the pistol? He can't. He's super weak, 15 health on this mid, and they fed too many players. Looks like even Nubby is going to escape this one, and still needs to reload rockets and try and salvage something. He's going to bomb around to Swords to try and find something desperately. Is in on top of 2 players. It's insane damage. He finds Morale, but nothing else.
I mean, that's absolutely good enough. When you're the last man left alive, you're just trying to salvage anything you can. He does so much damage there. At least killing Morale will make the show that they have to either wait for the spawn or take this Uber without their pocket scout. It looks like they're not even close to Uber, so they will be waiting for Morale. It's only a very tiny little ad here. It's like 25%. It's definitely enough to go off of, but they need to notice it, and they need to focus down Mula with this one.
Yeah, Mula's going to be in the spawn, so he is going to get his Uber now. He's up to 80% there. The Uber is coming in for the red team now, supposed to bomb it onto this gun. Takes it down immediately. Still's going to be blocking that point, just giving his life for it. Papi also going to be on that point, peeling for Solentes, and the Uber comes in from the blue team, and they just destroy everyone on tf2easy. It's a very, very nice last hold, and all 3 players are going to be retreating out of this last.
Yeah, exactly what they needed to do. tf2easy tried to play that point as best they could. It looked like it was very close for a second, but those soldiers blocked it. The soldiers don't die fast enough, and that gives time for Mula to get the Uber, of course, block off the point and chase everyone out. They even get the 3 frags as well to go with it, and now Seeds still has a tiny little advantage, but I don't think it's going to be big enough for tf2easy to want to go with between second and mid.
Yeah, it looks like they're just going to have to hold on to this for the time being. Seeds could make something happen here. He knows that Mula used his Uber a lot later, but whether they actually want to go on it or not, it's a bit of a risky maneuver. If they don't manage to catch Mula with it, then they're in a situation where they can to and fro or go for some kind of back cap play. So I think that it's worth the risk here to probably just send it, but looks like they're just going to be holding on to it. Go with a stalemate here on this second point, which is one of the harder ones to convert.
Yeah, looks like Nubby is just trying to fake a jump through so that they can make some space. Gazzy's running in the meantime. Nubby again with a jump as well, but they barely do anything to Mula. He gets scratched, but that's about all, and now it's a 4v6. Witness taking some room in Saw. They're peeking balcony a little bit here. Might be able to force Josh off, and they just bust through. They do exactly that. They're now running towards the combo. They take a trade here. Here comes the Uber onto Tomas. It's a bit better for tf2easy, but they have to flash it. Tomas is taking it solo, and he's just splitting the damage perfectly. Here we go. The Ubers have faded now, and the collapse is in from both teams. Morale, Sil, and Domo all going down instantly. The high ground is a bit better for tf2easy, but Josh, in fact, Kratos up there, so we're in a 4v4. Both teams still have their medic alive. Tomas above the point, ready to find any soldier that jumps. Oh, what a rocket from Nubby! Huge takedown onto Tomas, and now that actually means that he can chase all of Witness out. That rocket changed everything.
Oh my god, taking off Tomas off that high ground with that direct, and it's just corpse cartwheeling through the air.
Yeah.
Absolutely magical. Bombs coming in though. It looks like they want to go into second here, but just denied by Ixie, sent back into lower from whence he came. Unable to get into the second point, and Papi's just aggressing on Saw, gets airshot himself again, and just dies on the floor. Josh, in fact, does go down to Domo, so players getting traded out here, but it is in favor of Witness Gaming. They're going to start moving in towards this mid, and tf2easy, they are looking like they do not want to hold this one too much as they get nice and passive on this mid. But Witness Gaming starting to plod into this point. The respawners are going to be coming in, and a trade is definitely on the cards. And they use out Mula, nearly goes down there. The double scout aggression as the trade comes out. We've got Gazzy trying to go in behind, deleted by Salentes, and now it's looking pretty good from Witness Gaming on top of this point. Nasboy's in with the respawn, and Salentes in as well, trying to deal damage, but this flank has just been caught, and Ixie's in super deep with Tomas, but the rest of tf2easy are all clumped up together, and they seem to be losing this one now, Bub.
Yeah, one of the stranger fights we've seen so far. They're still, in fact, trying to chase Ixie down as much as they can. Poor guy has to run for his life. He does eventually get out, and now they are going to just stuff these doors, get the soldiers close on them so that no one can make it through, and they are going to secure second. But that fight was all over the place on mid. That trade, Gazzy... Oh, there's a double sack into last. Never mind that. Nubby's already in deep trying to frag Domo, but neither of the soldiers get anything at all. Now it's a 6v4. Now, maybe Witness Gaming can push out of this if they want to, but it looks like they've already got this sentry gun committed. Ixie's going to put it in the fortress hold spot. This is where we might see it slow down for the first time. Witness might want to reset this one.
Yeah, definitely going to be resetting this one. Witness just building up that sentry gun, and how many times have we seen this round reset happen? Whereas even Ubers, we're on last, we're on Snakewater, and we've got a level 3 sentry gun in the middle of the point. I mean, also we've got Sil up on a banner. He's going to be using battalions, just even more defensive items, just to be able to stop them. Also Papi running their battalions as well. We haven't got a single banner on the side of tf2easy, but that's because the soldiers have died. So we're going to see what they're going to do here. It's likely going to be the dual spam from lower and just see if he can clean up this gun, but Papi is holding it super tight.
Yeah, genuinely, this is such a difficult sentry gun to take down. You have to spam it from lower, but there's always a soldier watching it, or you can get right in the corner of the big door area and try and spam it from there, but that's just absolute suicide. There's always a demo man watching it. The sack is in, lands onto Mula. Oh my goodness, Mula goes so low despite the sentry, despite everything. Mula actually could have just dropped there. He goes down incredibly low. He didn't seem aware of the soldier at all. And I don't know how the sentry didn't like track Nubby instantly and take him down, but it wasn't doing much to stop him there.
Yeah, so the way that you can actually get over that gun is if you go directly over the top of the gun, it can't track up very well and has to spin around. So he was able to get that bomb onto Mula. So nice little job there from Nubby, showing his mechanical ability on this day 2 of this land. So doing an excellent job is Nubby trying to get those forces off, but once again, not seeing any complete off classes. They're going for the standard cookie code to see if they can break this one. We do have 3 minutes still left on the clock, so plenty of time to make something happen.
Yep, and 16 minutes left on the game. It's a 2-0. Josh actually just jumping in, both soldiers in the air with the double sack, but again, Tomas snipes one out the air and the sentry gun can deal with the other. This is just such a difficult last to push into, and the double sack just does not seem to be working. I think they need to try something to get this gun. Toe's actually going for a peek here through lower, but eventually backs up. And I mean, I do think the strategy for getting rid of the gun is probably going to have to be a spy.
Yeah, it's going to have to be a spy. I mean, it's that or you try and build a banner, but with the map timer changing, I mean, it's kind of insane.
Difficult.
But we have got Josh on the man treads.
Oh,
so
nice.
He's going to be able to, and Nubby also on the man treads. So they're going to be denying that sentry gun pushback, which is what the man treads does.
Yep,
and
and
they're
you get
just
extra
going to
strafe power as well for some crazy changing in the air control. So we'll see if this double sack works this time with the double man tread setup. There is a bit of spam from Nasboy coming in, but he gets punished pretty hard for that one.
Nasboy, that's not what you want to see. I think Nas should just stick to locking down these doors, otherwise he is just going to get picked off like this. I mean, how can you not expect the sniper at this point?
Every death you take is running just another 20 seconds off that 5 minutes you have to work with, and you really need as many opportunities as you can to just keep throwing stuff at this sentry and eventually take it down. You can't just be losing one and having to back outside, wait, clear lobby again. It's just time that's running down off the clock, and you are 2-0 down. You need to start something. Tomas here checking for spy and sniper to make sure no one's going to go sap his gun or backstab his medic. And it looks like they are ready to go for this sack attempt once again. Both soldiers in the air. They pop Mula up this time, but it's just not enough once again.
Mula's just dancing around them, man. He's like a ballerina on this medic class. He is absolutely amazing, doing such a good job just surviving all of these bombs coming out, especially with these man-treads. But you can see the work the man-treads are doing. They are actually getting into the last. The only downside is that they are taking a lot of damage from jumping off these walls. So
yeah, looks like Nubby's back on gunboats, and well, let's see when Josh jumps, he's back on gunboats too. Yeah, so looks like the man-treads has been given up on. What was that, sorry?
Pentasack.
Oh,
Just send 5.
I mean, it might be. I mean, at the end of the round, oh, they're going for a trade. This is usually what they do with less than a minute left. They just YOLO trade it, and they do actually get in. They get the force out, but it looks like Morale is going to be dying after the Uber. The banners also are out after the trade, which is just such a nice buff. Gazzy gets destroyed trying to back out, and these banners, you really can't trade into banners. Like, once both Ubers are out of the way, you have 2 mini Ubers for one team still active afterwards. It's so difficult to win a trade versus banners, and so nice to be the team taking the trade with banners. Here comes one last sack from Josh. He's just jumping in, throwing his life away. There's 15 seconds left on this round. It looks like we're going to go to mid again.
Yeah, we're just seeing like the desperation of just trying to get in. They're just trying to get to the points. They can get a little bit of cap time down. Morale just managed to bully and kill 2. He kills Sil in time, just gets destroyed by Papi. Not a lot they can really do there. We are going to a round reset. That 5-minute round timer, as we were talking about, Snake Water, super slow.
Yeah, I mean that sentry, no one's figured it out yet. We might need to get a new map in the pool real quick. Like, no one can best this sentry on Snakewater as of yet. I think the only way we've seen it happen is those spy saps with a sack at the same time, but it's just such a waste of resources to have to do that every time, and then you're still fighting with a spy afterwards. So here we go, we're still 2-0 on this game. Here comes a very fast bomb from Josh this time, trying to land in enemy Saw. Nubby backing him up, landing way on top, hitting 2 people with the same rocket. There's a massive amount of damage on both teams right now. It's a 4v4, Meds are still alive for both teams. Sil is in enemy Saw, just trying to get on Season. He gets the pickaxe kill, in fact. He does get cleaned up by Morale eventually, but it's too little too late. Mula is now still alive. They need to 3-man send it onto Mula as soon as possible, and he's just made too much distance. He's completely safe. They're just going to cap up the mid and leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the correct decision to make. I mean, I was going to mention that tf2easy, they definitely knew about this Uber ad as well, that they were going to have a seed to stay alive, but it's like they're just going to be coming back into mid completely for free. They just bully out these players with the better heals, and now they have this full Uber to play with, and just a very, very good job there from Sil just to manage to get on top of seeds, but desperation, very, very close for it, not working, but interesting sticky trap out from Nasboy here, just in that vent as well. He's got Papi move onto the high ground, gets knocked away, and he's just been launched into the skybox. The air sticky nearly lands, and in fact he does in fact crater, but the Uber comes out in the end as the bomb comes in from Nubby. And now this Uber has now been reset, and they've only lost 1 player on the side of tf2easy.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely worth it, but if it's not big enough of an advantage for you to get out of last yourself, it might as well have not happened. Witness are going to have that Uber again in about 40 seconds, and tf2easy need to go off of this to make it count. And oh my god, Josh gets launched by the stickies. He just about survives in cheese. He will be having to back up and get some health though, and all of that is just delay. They can't make their way through. They are running in once again now, busting it in through balcony. Sil is hiding in this corner on the pack. He's been spotted out by the scouts, but he hits a very nice direct onto Morale, keeping himself alive down there. And Ixie also running around on the train, just trying to trade damage with people. Does get a frag onto Gazzy as well. This Uber is coming imminently for Mula. The point does get capped up, and Papi, he lands onto Seeds. He does get that force off. Mula will have his Uber any second now. He does pop it off. It's much, much better. If they can chase this with Thomas, it could be huge, but no, not quite. Morale will be the only person dying to this. He is caught between a rock and a hard place, and now they are going to reclaim second from Witness, but it's still 5 for 5. Thomas he's just YOLOing into last. He's on the point. What? Wow, okay. Here comes a sack as well from Sil. They're just sending people one by one. Sil just turns around and turns tails and runs at the end of that instead. They were just going crazy with the momentum there, Witness.
I don't know what happened with Thomas there. He's like, I just want this last point just ending, come on, and he just pelts it in. But no, I mean, that was a nice little event of a trade there that they tried to pull out. I mean, I think that tf2easy, they were taking their time, like you mentioned. There was just delay after delay after delay, but Morale just hit screw it, and they just run in through Balk. They take the trade, but Mula unfortunately gets his Uber in time. They get pushed all the way back, so now back on last. I mean, they're going to be very aggressive in this lobby. I mean, both teams are going to get their Uber at roughly the same time, but Thomas is up on the spy, and he gets immediately spotted. That's so unfortunate.
Yes, taunt that. All right, well, now we know the Gazzy Pyro is so strong, because he knows exactly what class you're playing and just hunts you down, finds you apparently.
Yeah, Gazzy on that Pyro, forced to be reckoned with as always, so we're going to see what off-class they want to go with, but it looks like Toe's going to go back to Scout. He's going to be sticking with this one. And
do you think this is the worst Pyro map?
I think this might be the worst Pyro map.
And Gazzy's just doing it anyway, and he's in lobby, YOLO reflecting rockets at people because he doesn't care.
Yeah, I think when you're playing Pyro, you want to force yourself into these situations that you don't usually play in, because Pyro does kind of play like that. You just kind of play in lobby, but this allows for the flank to be open. The headshot comes in from Morale, just destroys Ixie, unable to get to that point here. Morale's going to be surfing back away from that doorway as Domo's now applying the pressure. Also, we've got Bomb coming in, but papi goes into last, just gets a reflect air shot, in fact, by his own rocket, and Nubby cleans that one up.
Maybe Witness have spent so much time on their own last, they've got no practice in understanding what other teams do on theirs. They are just YOLO sending one person at a time, and it's not really working out. The banner does get popped now, and Domo has been headshot. He's very, very low. The Uber, in fact, gets forced. Seed still has his in his pocket. They can pop this off as soon as the banner fades, or they might just force Witness out with nothing else to say. No one's going behind as of yet. Ixie, and now is running through lower. Josh is on last to defend that, and papi is bombed forwards onto Morale. Is going to take that frag down. Seeds just died.
Yeah, Seeds just died. I don't know what really happened there, but we got Ixie on last. He's taking the fight. Nubby with a gorgeous rocket just to clean him up there with a nice direct. But now we've got Tomas running in, absolutely destructive onto the soldier. Does get the damage off, but in fact goes down to the pipes of Nasboy. Domo's going to get caught in lower as well. Witness Gaming looking like they're going to crumble here on this push. But the saving grace of all of this, Spum, is that Moolah is still alive.
Man, what is that? Neither of these teams looking quite like themselves in the last 2 minutes of gameplay. That was just absolutely whack from both of them, but eventually tf2easy do clutch out that last hold. It looked like it was all going to be against them for a second. Nubby hit that nice rocket onto Ixie, but had to resub. The other three could have flooded the point in that time, but eventually tf2easy do manage to hold on. They do have a slight disadvantage here, and the bomb comes way forwards. The battalion's backup is out in return. Still is snuck in behind onto lobby, and he gets seeds for free. That could change everything. The Uber is out now from Witness in lower. They've chased down 2 frags with it. They are running it up all the way behind into lobby. They've separated Nasboy from the rest of his players, but in the meantime, Ixie's all left on his own, fighting on second. Looks like Witness will be able to cap up this second point. Morale needs to be able to block this or do something. He's just caught out from the rest of his team in Africa right now. He's trying to take this 1v1 versus Tomas. Tomas is going to win that one out, and Moolah once again still has this advantage.
Yeah, Tomas once again doing an excellent job defending his medics, so moving into the left-hand side, the stickies are above the door. Someone's going to die for these, but looks at things when Domo gets pushed away. He's on fire, we've got that gas fire again, but we have got the soldier coming in very, very deep, but doesn't manage to find it too much. Here, but Seeds does go down. Sil coming in from the side on the flank. I didn't even spot that one, so Sil doing an excellent job, but he is going to go down. It's going to leave 3 alive for the side of Witness Gaming, but a full Uber and to boot.
Yeah, Toe was so busy, like, on the shutter side trying to kill Nubby, which, I mean, he traded for Nubby as well and brought so many eyes onto him that no one was looking at Big Door side for Sil to just jump straight in, lands on top of Seeds on top of that point, and it's a free 2 rockets on the floor that'll do it and get us this full advantage, which so far Witness have been pretty good at converting. And if they take this to 3-0 with 6 minutes left on the map, that's a nice 1-0 start to the series if we don't see something from tf2easy instantly. So here they go from lower.
So they're going to take the Uber off the left-hand side. Domo's going to be pelting down that century. It does go down. Gatti is still on that fire in the left-hand side spawn, but as the Uber fades, they're going to be grouping up on this left-hand side, trying to do what they can. Air shot in from papi with the double onto Nubby to take him down, and it looks like now we've got Morale on the low ground just trying to take a fight against the entire team, but the rest of Witness Gaming can't find anything else, and they just retreat. Ixie's still in.
Oh!
Onto Seeds, can he find the scattergun shots? Looks like it's going to be an absolutely no, as Gazzy just destroys him.
I mean, it was a very cheeky play. He somehow ended up on top of Big Tower above the truck, and he was just crouching there, waiting, prowling for Seeds to go underneath him, and he does drop down, but does not hit the shots in the end. Nubby and Josh are so concerned about this back cap. They're only just coming off of last now. But tf2easy do have the advantage. They have secured second, and they need to get this ball rolling. 5 minutes for 2 rounds at least to take this to golden cap.
So they're going to be heading in through Saw, and they're just trying to clear these stickies that still are above that door, and just running in through, and the stickies do get dead, and now they've just got an open shot. tf2easy going to run in, they do just pop out the supercharge. They're going to be chasing, but it's just Morale on the Uber. Not a single explosive class with him, and they don't find anything but a rotation back in from Witness Gaming. They waste no time. They get straight back into the fight, take down Nubby and lower. Josh is going to be the next to fall. He goes down. Papi is the only frag that happens for tf2easy this entire event. And now it looks like they're going to be taking second for free and probably a lot more here, Bob.
Yeah, I mean, they're just way too delayed getting into mid. Mueller had up to 90% before they even start moving, and then they pop that Uber with no information anyway and find nothing, and now the Uber into last. They've already found Ghazi. They're juggling Nubby all over the place. They've already got half the cap time. The Heavy is on the point, though. Morale could mow everyone down here. He's getting tanked, but it's just not enough. 3v5. Nasboy, last man standing. Can he do it versus the world? No. Thomas just touches the point, and that takes us to 3-0 with 4 minutes left, Lucky. It's looking like a wrap on Snakewater.
Yeah, I mean, these rounds have taken so long to happen that it's like 4 minutes is totally not doable. So we're going to see what they can do here. Ixie's already spy checking just to see what is going on the enemy team, if there's any funny Chris Crees in play. Turns out there is not. Siege does not want to usually go for those. It's going to be standard cookie cutter for them, as Nasboy's going to be making his way in towards mid for the time being, just slinging some stickies across this mid to see what they can do. And looks like it's going to be another slow mid here coming out the side of both sides, and we're just going to be toing and froing. Josh goes in to take that high ground off Ixie. Does eat a rocket there on that high ground, so needs to get an arrow from his medic. And now the high ground has been controlled by tf2easy, but Witness Gaming are there to punish. At the same time, landing a lot of damage onto Ghazi. Survives the Slither Raid fee. Silentis goes down. The bombs finally come in, and we've got this 1v1 on the high ground between Ghazi and Ixie as well, trying to see who can do what. But this mid fight is taking a very long time to conclude. But tf2easy eventually are going to come out on top.
Yeah, and it just does not look that great as Nubby tries to chase and gets punished by the sticky trap. They needed to be faster than this. They need it to be a wipe off of mid, not one of these ones where you end up with an even Uber situation and one pick each so you can barely even move forwards. It's 3 minutes. They need to find 3 rounds. They need this gone over. I mean, basically 1 per minute from now on. They are trying to do that exactly by running this one in with the Uber. The trade comes out onto Domo and Papi. They're bombing this one forwards, and oh my god, it's a massive collapse down here on grass. Josh does manage to salvage this by finding Mueller at the end of the fight, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
No, it's probably not going to be enough here. I mean, Nubby the last man standing. Let's see what he can do. The young lad on land, if he can find anything else. Does find Silen lower, but he was already pretty weak, so we're not going to count that one as 1v1. It still only counts as 1. And Thomas going to be moving into lower here onto Nubby, and he's being juggled against the wall, and Nubby is in the sand zone right now. And a 1v2 versus Scouts, and does get pistol whipped down eventually, so they find that one. Protect their medic who's on the respawner, and still have this mid to boot.
All right, so you're in trash time at LAN. What's the plan for your mental? Do you just keep playing the map as if it wasn't over, like keep trying as hard as you can, or are you already, to paraphrase Clockwork, the map's over, what they're thinking about process?
Yeah, I think that they're going to be, trying to play on, trying to play seriously. I think they're getting the practice in because, they've got more games coming ahead of them. So, Papi's going to be bombing in here. Chris Creek does come out. Seeds is actually on that, so going to be running forwards. They do find a bunch of players, actually. Why they weren't doing this the whole time is beyond me, as Seeds has now got DM Medic, and they've actually managed to wipe them for the first time in this game. It's a shame
they've
that
learned
it's
something
in
for
garbage
process.
time.
They've learned something for process. Just put Seeds on Battle Medic, let him get a few frags of his own.
Yeah, just let him DM, put him on syringe gun. He needs the crossbow.
Yeah, well, hopefully our item servers can go down again today, and we'll see a bit of that. But
and with 2 shotgun soldiers with shovels. But it looks like we have got this game that's still ongoing. 1 minute left on the clock, and now it's not doable for can't speak anymore. Not doable for tf2easy on this map, unfortunately. So Witness Gaming going to do one last defense to see what they can do here. But Seeds is 75% on the Chris. Let's see if we can get some frag movie moments coming, Bob.
All right, let's see. Here we go. They are moving it into lobby. They just about don't have it as of yet. Come on. They're building it up. They're ready to take it onto Nasboy. They're opening the shutter for him. Here it comes. The crits is popped. They do find Papi with it at the very least, but everything else is not going too well. They find one long-range sticky. That's going to be Domo going down as well. But, I mean, it's not the most impressive crits I've ever seen.
No, I think we've seen better crit streaks. I mean, now they're going to go for the full sending because Papi and Domo are currently in the dirt, so we'll see what happens here. Silentis just getting pushed all over the place, and he's unable to do really too much on that bomb, but does manage to force Josh into lower. But looks like now the sentry gun eventually going down as Josh is going to be bombing back into the fight, ends up on the low ground, and is now stuck in a corner and very much dead. 10 seconds remaining. Uber comes out from Mueller, just another one for the locks, cementing this victory as a 3-0 to Witness Gaming to start out this series in upper bracket round number 2.
Yeah, 3-0, very nice for Witness. I believe also this was the tf2easy pick.
Oh wow, that's upsetting.
Yeah, I mean, it's not great for tf2easy. I could be wrong. I mean, we've got some analysts to talk about whether or not I am wrong, and of course, everything else that went right and wrong in this map for both teams. So looks like we're going to throw it over to the desk.
Hello, my friends.
Lads, whoa, I'm not ready. What are you doing? What are you doing to me? Well, all right, just going into this blind, are we? So, Kado, how was games?
Well, even though that was a 3-0, I'd say our transition into the desk was roughly as clean as Witness Gaming's transitions. That was, in my opinion, comfortable for Witness, but I think it was a bit sloppy, and I have one name to throw out, Salentes. And if not for Salentes, I think that could have been a bit more of a sketchy game, because there were some really, really questionable conversions, but Witness Gaming doing more than enough in the end.
Right. Okay, I'm ready now, I'm ready. So, I've been watching the games, I've ran all the way over here because we've been watching the point of views and all this stuff. It is an interesting dynamic over between the two teams. Over on TF2easy, understandable, very emotional, all this stuff like that. And I think you're right with the Salentes thing. It's just an absolute pain in their side. And it's kind of an interesting juxtaposition. I do love a good bit of high-level TF2, because now you see the little tiny mistakes being capitalized so much by these teams. And the only difference, like the one that kind of sticks out to me, maybe it's just because of my background, but Nubby is just, he'll have good plays, but then he'll like go into like a small, teeny tiny mistake, and then it'll lead into Witness capitalizing off it a lot. And then when you have obviously Lentes coming in, being a hero again and again and again, and just making the games not so much needed, but just making them easier, like just taking an Uber out here and there and all this stuff like that. It's just it's a real just juxtaposition, I think.
I mean, this is one of the things that makes Sil like just such a great player. He's not just a man of moments. He has all of the moments to match any other Roman out there, but in between those moments, all the dirty work, all the stuff we don't see, it's all pretty much picture perfect. So when we see him on camera, it's like interesting situations, sacks, mid bombs, etc., etc., and we see him doing huge stuff there. But he's potentially, unlike Nubby in this game, he's not costing his team. He's only doing those things in situations where his team are prepared for it and they can cope without him, so to speak. The rest of the time, he's just rock solid. But I mean, yeah, you talk about the emotions that the teams are feeling in that game. We started that game out instantly. I mean, all the mids, bar the last mid, were very quite comfortable for Witness. Like big bombs from the soldiers, again, Sil, but Papi also. Mids were fairly comfortable. In that very first round, okay, it was a botched last push, but Sil just bombing in, like on the respawn cycle, just bombs in, caps the point as TF2easy are respawning, and it's 1-0 out of the gate, and already TF2easy are probably a little bit, not tilted, but it's a tilting round.
I mean, beg me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Snake was their map. That was their map pick, and it was a very clean game of TF2 coming out from Witness. I'm not seeing too much roughs around the edges, especially round-wise and all this. Going into it, it's going to be an uphill battle for this process game. Can they shake off things like this at this level, or is it almost like it's going to sort of almost said and done at this point?
I would say this. I mean, just to circle back around to the pregame a little bit. My picks on that paper?
Yes, they are correct. They are 100% correct, Gado.
So this was TF2easy's pick, but it was very, very predictable because they had a good game against Witness yesterday on Snake. They've not been having good games with Witness overall. But on the other side of things, okay, this was their pick, but Witness were 100% prepared for this pick.
We were talking about it earlier, the seesawing of these gotcha sort of turnarounds. When they put the homework in, they fix their fixable things, and it's paid off in dividends. I expected the match to still be close, but it's just so tight as a unit. And I don't know, maybe the focus is easy to be put on that first map, but do you think players ever find that as it goes into the second map, maybe even the third map, they actually lose that sort of rigidness? Or do you think a team like Witness will just keep out this sort of standard?
I think for Witness, now that they've won their opponent's map pick, I think going into the next map, they're just going to be feeling very, very comfortable. They haven't had a serious game of Process this land so far. Okay, maybe that's disrespectful to Swift, but they had a very, very comfortable game against Swift, I think, on Process, if I'm not mistaken. But I think that will have put them in a good mental space going into it, into potentially uncharted territory. Maybe there's a few surprises waiting for them on Process from TF2easy. We're not ruling TF2easy out. They're capable of doing it, but the stuff that I've been seeing in kind of the behind the scenes, etc., this is a very, very nice map for for Witness to be going into after a comfortable game like that.
And it's not just that as well. If they can prove and feel like they're comfortable on this pro set map, I feel like they have another, like, an extra map in the tool belt that doesn't feel like so intimidating to them. So now in the next further map picks against all these other teams later, they can maybe rely on it. But fortunately for tf2easy, they can switch it around. They could take away this map from them. If they can strike them hard, or at least make it very convincingly difficult for them, maybe there will be second guessing this process map going into the future. But coming down to like the players' performances themselves, was there anybody else that was catching your eye, or anybody else that was kind of stepping up for LAN? Let's keep this positive, Kato.
I thought Seeds was doing well, to be honest. I didn't really see any particular mistakes from Seeds. I felt like Seeds had a very solid game, considering his team was on the back foot the whole time.
Yeah.
Even with these big bombs, etc., that I was discussing, Seeds was actually managing to survive some mids and things like that. So there's others we could discuss, but Seeds was one that just caught my eye a little bit for tf2easy, but need to see a bit more from the whole unit, to be honest.
All right, well, that's some positivity. Let's end on that positive note. Let's throw it back over to our casters. Boys, I hope you're ready as I was.
Turbo, come on now, don't do me like that, come on.
So mean, how
I'm
dare
very
you?
sorry. I'm very sorry, Turbo, for that throw. I did not know you were not ready. But we are ready, the teams are ready. We have Process coming right up, Lucky. Are you looking for a third map here, or are Witness qualified for the winners bracket final?
Oh, Witness Gaming looking so goddamn good. I mean, if we're looking at what Cadus had to say, I mean, he seems to be very intimate with Witness Gaming, kind of understands how they're playing, and if this is now their map pick on Process, it's looking extremely positive for them going into this map.
I hope for tf2easy to be able to take this one. It's not a map I believe we've seen between the two of them for a while.
Yep.
It was in the regular season, at the very start of the season, before either team had their new roster fully settled. I don't believe it was in the final of the season. So it's definitely going to be an intriguing one to see who comes out on top, especially the fact that Witness picked this one instead of Gully Wash. It either means they're hiding something on Gully Wash, or they're uncomfortable about Gully Wash for an unknown reason, or they're very, very confident on this map. It's one of the three.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Witness Gaming, like I said before, I think it's just going to be a case of Tomas and Ixie just kind of taking the game away a little bit. They seem to be extremely confident scouts, and like I mentioned, they do this dual pocket scout style sometimes, and these mid fights are going to probably show that, like have a little bit of a showcase about what they can kind of do, and I feel like it does enable Tomas to pull out those snipers, because sniper sightlines are one thing that they should be messing around with. Gazzy and Toe, both excellent off classes, so we'll see what they can bring to this map in terms of stalemates. But have you got any score lines in mind for this map at all?
Oh, score lines. I can't give you score lines, but I was just going to run with your thing about the snipers. Nubby usually is the sniper for tf2easy, and online he's been absolutely brilliant. We saw him sniping a little bit yesterday that was a bit more uneasy, but today he's looking like a different beast. In that first map he was doing a lot better than what we were seeing out of him in the group stages, so maybe his sniper might come out a bit today.
Yep.
And in terms of score lines, I hope to see tf2easy win this one. I would like to see a third map. I think it's what tf2easy deserve. These teams have been so close for so long, but my brain is telling me something different entirely. I think we might see another, it's not going to be a wipe, it's not going to be a roll, but I think another like 3-1 to Witness Gaming might be on the cards here.
Yeah, that's a good prediction to make. I think that tf2easy could in fact get 2 rounds. I was thinking more of a closer game, like maybe 3-2. Because I think tf2easy, they kind of like, I don't know, I feel like Gazzy's going to be able to open up a little bit. I feel like he got shut down a lot, left to sit on the flank for most of the game before, so something just gives me the feeling in mind that, you know, he's probably going to have a better game on this one. As we are heading in to the first mid, both teams have managed to find their F4 buttons on the keyboard, and Domo is with a very fast rollout, hitting the full Kato rollout, very nice stuff there, and Nasboy's weak into this mid, it's totally shut down to begin with, fast rollout from these soldiers, just getting onto this mid, nice and quick. Just Nubby there taking that high ground, is going to be retreating. Salenter's looking like he's going to be going for a bomb. I'll put him at the top as he goes in towards Seeds to take him down with Papi. It is combined forces. It looks like Mola is high and dry, nice and safe on the other side of the mid with his pocket scout as the rest of the fight just comes to a close. With Josh on the low ground, and it's going to be most likely a wipe. Yeah, I mean, very, very nice double bomb from Papi and Sil. Papi hopping up the medic and hitting the air shot. Say that 3 times fast. He does take down Seeds right at the start of the mid. He doesn't even have anyone to heal on last right now with the 0% Uber. This is going to be a very fast round if Witness can convert this one, which somehow I think they are going to. They
are not the type of team to fail these very easy 100% last conversions. And there is a sniper up watching into lobby. We'll see if they can drop Domo again, but no, in fact, the Uber's already in through one entirely different area, avoiding the sniper completely. He does take down Papi, though, and now the Uber is kind of fizzled out. They're not able to still be together at the end of this fight. Muller has not found his way to link up with Domo, who is now high and dry above, but Silentes bombs in onto Seeds.
Oh, that's very unfortunate here. They're trying to scrap over the rest of the point here. Morale's desperately trying to defend, does find one. Can Nasboy find anything else? He cannot, and Tomas takes him down. It's going to be the first round, and that was extremely quick. We're looking at a 1 minute 40 round there.
Yeah, I mean, it's not what you want to see if you're tf2easy. You've just lost your map pick, and it's 40 seconds into the next one. You're getting rolled over already. I mean, they need to have a better mid-fight than that. They need to be able to kill anyone on the other team, really, and just not have their med die instantly.
Holy rollout from Domo. He's hitting these rollouts every single time. So crisp and clean, definitely been practicing, but makes his way in. And looks like they're going to be playing on this right-hand side. But it's just sitting on the low ground. High bomb coming in once again. Papi going in very, very deep. Does land inside of Morale. Takes him down. Josh going down equally. And Silentes is going to be getting that pack as well. Retreating all the way back. Can he find Nasboy on that high ground? Deals a good amount of damage and manages to clean him up in the end. But Seeds has managed to retreat all the way out of mid with Gazzy solidly. So it looks like they're going to be at least able to hold to last, but they're going for a bin, but
they are. They're trying their best to get all the way into last already, but there's just too many players alive for you to really go for that strategy when you haven't properly wiped the other team. But I say that, they've already got 2 people into Panic Room. They are actually able to take down Josh here. Toe is going to lose his life for it. Still also with a nice shot from Nubby, denying that bomb. This guy has really warmed up onto day 2 of the LAN. He's going to get better and better from here. Best do believe me. Here we go.
Yeah, day 2 Nubby way better than day 1 Nubby, let's just say that. But Ubers are now even, so we're going to see what we are going to go with our first sack attempts from Witness Gaming, who, you know, have been relatively successful. But Gazzy once again choosing the Pyro over choosing an Engineer for this first sack.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's something that they used to do a lot and it worked, but like they were playing against Mac, they weren't playing against Witness Gaming, so I think it's not really the best off-class you can have on last. It's just a solo Pyro trying to reflect things. They do now, of course, have the Engineer set up, much more sensible, low-risk play. It's going to get put up on the point, and they are just playing this quite far back towards, they're not holding any of these doors. They could be busted through. Sil does try and bust through one of them, but the level 1 pins him to the ceiling.
Okay, we are seeing some tech here. Domo has gone with the lock and load to deal with the sentry gun, dealing more sentry gun damage on that pipe launcher. So he's clearly understands the state of the game and is just going to be going for that the whole time and see what they can do here. Seeds and Co are just going to be hanging out by this point. I mean, it's very loose here. Seeds not holding close, not far back, and not really fearing anything. But we're seeing Nubby and Josh on these battalions still now. So on those defensive banners, trying to build them up.
Yeah, the double battalions is something that tf2easy actually pretty much started doing as a counter to Witness Gaming, and Witness kind of tried to adopt it into their own play style. They were saying, oh, this is unfair, this is OP, and then they start using it themselves. The sack is in from Sil, but just gets deleted by a body shot plus sentry gun combo. And I mean, I've got to say, even to this day, I do think that tf2easy are a bit better at utilizing the banners than Witness are, but I don't think they're all or nothing, like round winning things most of the time. Neither of these teams are just abusing them permanently. It is just a nice thing to have in the stalemates on last, because you might as well. You're spamming some free damage anyway. You might as well have some mini Ubers.
Yeah.
If you want to be able to build them, you're not doing much jumping with the gumbo. So
I thought I saw a loose cannon there. That's definitely Nas using the loose cannon for once. So that's a very interesting pickup from him. But
there's a trade going on.
Oh, there is a trade going on. They've just run all the way in, nice and deep. There is Frontier Justice Chris, but nope, absolutely denied. The stickies come in and the pipes come in and they delete the energy. But Seeds didn't even use, so not even a trade. Now the banner comes out instead of using the Uber charge, which is exactly what you want if you're tf2easy to hold on to this point. Nasboy is now getting healed up, and this could be an opportunity now for them to push out of their own last.
Yeah, I don't know about trading for the dispenser. I don't think that's worth an entire Uber charge. I mean, I know it does pump out a lot of heals, but not quite as much as a medic that makes you invincible. And now the other banner does get popped. Still is straight in on Seeds' head, though. It's a very nice force, and the Uber has been forced out. So Ubers and both banners are gone from the server currently, but tf2easy gets second for it, and they are off the death trap of their own last.
Yeah, Witness Gaming now have this ad to play with though, but the only downside to this advantage that they've managed to accumulate is that they have a sniper. So we're going to probably be looking at most likely a sewer push. You get that sniper in, you just take that range, you can just try and pick off a few heads while you slowly encroach on second. This is probably not going to convert into a last push unless they find seeds with the super. So as they start to rotate all the way over, they are in fact doing that. They're heading over to sewers, and Tomas is going to be peeking this doorway and trying to find that angle there, and he does manage to find where Seeds is, but unable to really get the shot off onto him, and they're just going to be constantly peeking, but it looks like Seeds nearly has Uber up to 85%. Tomas just still peeking aggressively. We've got the bomb coming in nice and high into the players that have been left out in the open. They're all just hiding behind this point as he finds the head. Gazi gets cleaned up there, as also we've got Nasboy going down as Papi finds that bomb as well, and now they're in a terrible situation, tf2easy. They're going to have to take a trade here, Bum.
Yeah, they need to delay for these spawners as long as they can. Gaz is going to be up in 4, but Nasboy's is a bit more difficult, and he's the one that you really need to spawn for this last hold. The bomb in is huge. They, in fact, get the force without even having to use from the side of Witness Gaming. Very, very nice. They push them out of position, and the sack comes from the side they weren't expecting. Sil, the one to pop up the medic and get that force in the end. Gazi is running around trying to find anyone to hunt down. Nubby's pushing them out of choke. They actually do get second for this at the very least, but again, it's a much, much bigger advantage this time. They're not going to have to go slow through sewer. They don't have the sniper anymore. They will be able to take this as fast and hard as they want to, or if they do opt to go through sewer again, which it looks like they have, they'll have a nice, easy push forwards without getting forced. The banner does come out. Now they do actually have to worry about this banner a bit. Mula's been spammed down low. They need a lot of delaying for this banner to go away, and now they have eventually used their Uber as well, but Seeds is so close to getting his own now. He's up to 80%.
Yeah, Gazi in fact does in fact go down there, so finding one pick is pretty good because it means it is probably going to delay them just a little bit because they haven't got that extra player to kind of watch another door, and you kind of need to watch all these different doors when you're pushing out a process last. So we're going to see what they can do here. Their stickies are above that 3 kind of area. They do manage to start clearing them, but they are really taking their time here, and Mula is going to be finding that Uber charge soon, but the Uber comes through from the blue team. They're going to get juggled all the way in really deep, but these red players are scattering to the wind. Delta splitting, but can't find the pipes as Nas. He's in this choke just bullying away Witness Gaming as Morale gets cleaned up by a long-range pipe from Domo, so imagine to find that, but it looks like Witness Gaming, they do not want to give this up at all. They're going to be re-pushing back in, and Salenta's on that high ground. Josh is knocked really low, and he cannot jump really anyone with that battalion's backup still in play.
That damage and spam was perfect though from tf2easy. If they weren't able to do that, that would have been very deadly, but the Uber is coming in now again anyway, and they are catching so many players. That's Nubby and Nasboy both going down, and this is definitely going to be a dry push straight into last. Now the Ubers are out of the equation. It's a 6v4. They already have Toe in behind. He's running onto the point, but they've forgotten to cap second. Ixie is just left out there capping it up. The fight on last isn't going their way. They don't have all their players, and now that might have just been a wasted opportunity. The spawns come up. Seeds still has all of his Uber charge as well.
Yeah, the issue was there that Ixie was still rolling out while this was all happening, so they didn't have anyone. If they wanted to roll it forwards, they kind of needed Toe on that beam, but it looks like the blue Uber does come in, and he gets bonked by Papi there. Papi was just like on his head, so Nasboy unable to go anywhere with Uber, and it's just totally wasted. They haven't done anything with it, but once again, Josh has done a really, really good job of building this banner and just retaining it. He now has that banner available to use for this defensive second.
Oh, Morale is going to get caught off here, just catches every bit of spam possible and gets picked off at the end by the stickies, and that's a nice frag in return onto Papi though. Sil is also going to fall. The Uber has been taken deep onto Seeds. No one was stood next to that guy. Poor guy was left alone, and he's a free frag for Witness, and that makes a huge difference. It's not the kind of mistake you can be making, but all the frags now are coming out from tf2easy. They are just trying to get this frag onto Tomas, but in the meantime, that's letting Mula escape. They kind of want to chase this Mula kill, but now all of his spawners are here.
Oh, nice there, nice shot. He's jumping in. Can he find the rockets? Does find one, gets 2. Mula is so weak, but he doesn't manage to clean him up in the end. Mula is going to survive this. Once again, his survivability in this series has been paramount.
I mean, yeah, it's been such a difference maker, and tf2easy really focused the wrong target there by not chasing out Mula instead of Toe when they were split up into pairs on mid, but in fact, Sil is going to be going down on top of the point here, but Witness seems to have control of it entirely anyway. All of tf2easy are just going to be backing up after Josh goes down as well to Papi. Nubby is inside sewer, trying to take a little 1v1 with Ixie, but everywhere else, it's all about Witness. They've just taken control of all of second here.
Yeah, Witness Gaming taking it basically free, moving in towards lobby already. Tomas wants to take this Uber aggressively, but Seeds is going to get his Uber, moving in through the right-hand side, trying to get in towards that point, but they're just sticking them off, really causing some havoc, and they're just going to slow this one down. I think they are aware that Seeds now has his Uber charge in play and ready to go, but Tomas just wants to get in here. Both teams Looking to play very aggressive here, but it looks like they've got the heavy in the spawn door as well, up to 350 HP, so he's going to be very, very fat on this point. But they've got players in towards Panic already. Papi's just sitting up there, raining hell upon this heavy, so dealing as much damage as they can as it's very, very scrappy. Silentes and Thomas and Ixie are all going to go down. Papi getting cleaned up in the meantime. Domo's getting pushed as well, so he's going to have to treat him. Morale's there, 8 HP, and it looks like it's going to be a wipe in the end.
Complete wipe. Here we go, tf2easy. That's what we want to see. It's still only 1-0. They can get back into this game very easily. They just need to worry about that exact thing happening. Ixie in the sniper forward spawn does take down Nubby, but they know about it now. They know they don't want to go through choke. They take it through PC instead, and they are just getting in nice and cleanly so far. This might be a scout frag, but in fact the Uber has been forced off. It's the exact opposite of clean now. tf2easy have lost their whole advantage, but Ixie is back spawning, and there's no other threats on mid. They might still be able to go with this. It's completely even pretty much, and they do have 2 frags.
Yeah, it's long spawners as well. Thomas and Papi are still in that respawn queue for 5 more seconds. So heading in, Josh is coming in incredibly hot in towards the lobby as well. Going to be on top of Silentes here, but Silentes still wins that fight. So
he gets
another
This
Silentes.
is the exact reason, right, back at the start of the year when tf2easy was winning their final against Witness Gaming, it was just because Silentes can do stuff like that. No one else doesn't just 1-for-1 trade there. Sil doesn't even trade, he just gets 2 and then still survives and needs someone else to come and follow up on him. It's insane. He should have been a free death, and instead he's getting 2 free frags.
Do not accept the trade offers from Sil. It will not go well for you. So that's a notice to anyone out there who's going to play against Silentes in the future. But looks like now it's going to be even Ubers, just holding on to second. We're going to see what they want to do as Papi goes in and gets absolutely levitated, unable to do anything or whatsoever.
Yeah, unlucky. I mean, sometimes it happens. I'm sure they're not going to be too upset about it. Doesn't look like tf2easy are even really doing much in terms of counter-sacking. They just saw those 2 scouts on the height and they didn't even want to posture to do something. So we will just see Papi on the respawn, and we'll try and see what Witness have to do to get into this second.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be heading over towards sewers once again, just trying to see what they can do here. Moving on the left-hand side, just slowly encroaching like they were doing before. It seemed to work for them before, but they've still got these respawners rolling out. They've got Ixie and Silentes still trying to rejoin this fight, but I think Silla's going to be going for a fast bomb in through off the point as he's starting to bomb around, comes in through the choke, nice and high, in towards Seeds, and just gets bodied by Morale.
Yeah, it's a very nice try. They had Domo and Thomas making a lot of space through sewer as well, just putting the pressure on. Papi kind of was inside choke, making it look like he was going to bomb, maybe trying to fake them out a bit, and then Sil comes in with the fast one behind him. But eventually, none of that matters if your med just is able to juke it.
Yep, I mean, Seeds and Mula, the best medics in Europe, so you cannot count these guys out when it comes to surfing these rockets off, and even with these insane soldiers like Silentes and Papi, they still struggle to find Seeds, so, I mean, we're going to see what else they can do here. Once again, going to be heading over towards sewers. It seems to be the favoured approach for Witness Gaming going forwards, and they're just going to try and clear out whatever they can. Stickies are found on this doorway, so they're going to just start cleaning those up as and when they can, but also Thomas going down immediately, but still commits anyway. He does get in and does get a little bit of damage, but unable to really find anything else, as having 2 here, tf2easy going to be able to push in.
Yeah, I mean, with 2 picks, they've got to try and go for this. Papi is going to get bombed onto by Josh. Josh, though, gets juggled up himself and is going to lose his life for that one. Now, Ghazi running across the point. He sees an opportunity onto Domo, just tries to take it while he can, but unable to follow up, and now the spawns are in. So this is actually not in tf2easy's favor anymore. They have taken quite a bit of ground though, and Papi is going to throw his life away on top of the point as well. They're 2v1ing a scout up here too. Ixie throwing his life away. The force comes out from Silentes. Thank God he's here to salvage it once again. He may lose his life, but no, he does actually just manage to escape. And now Witness are trying to run this Uber out. Thomas, he makes the smart move. He gives up his life to make sure Mula gets out there. Very, very nice play from Thomas to just force them to turn around and look at him instead. But that was not what you want to see out of Witness.
Well, Thomas was backing up to the choke. He was pistoling backwards and killed Nubby while retreating. That's kind of insane. And also just runs in, drags them back into mid so they can't go to Mula. It's just such an intelligent play. Thomas just showing why he's probably the best player, one of the best players in Europe right now, if not the best player in Europe. But we've got another stalemate happening, which is something that I didn't think we'd see too much of on Process. This is nearly slower than Snakewater. 1 round in 15 minutes, Mum.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't feel slower, I suppose, because we've seen quite a bit of movement. But yeah, 1 round, it's still a very close game. tf2easy are getting closer and closer to tightening this one up. And if they do so, then maybe they'll be able to take it to a third map. Maybe we'll even see them in the winners bracket final. Here comes a sack from Nubby coming all the way from the forward spawn.
Oh my god, he finds the directs. What a shot from Nubby. Finding that kill, they're just trying to desperately salvage. They're killing plenty of people and Siege does force off. Now it's up to the rest of Witness Gaming to survive as much as they can here to salvage this situation. Ixie is currently caught in towards mid, and he's just getting 1v4, does get cleaned up by Nasboy Stickies, but Nubby, what a player.
Yeah, I think that was Josh even. Nubby just gave us the overhead camera on it. Josh was sacking from somewhere else at the same time and hits just a beautiful shot. He's not usually the person you expect to be the fragger of the team. He's more of the brain of the operation, and Nubby's like this young gun. But wow, what a nice sack, and they get exactly what they need. That's the advantage he sees now. He did eventually have to use off himself, but that respawn time of Mula means it's still a small advantage. In fact, they've built it very well. It was smaller than this just a second ago. Now they've actually managed to turn it into a pretty sizable chunk of ad, and if they can get this round back on the board, we are going to see a neck-and-neck game, Lucky.
Yeah, it's Seed's building, so he builds much faster than other medics, 10% faster right here, but it looks like the Uber's coming in through one. A push that we've not typically seen, surfs into the spawn door as morale. This sentry gun is currently on the floor next to three. They're going to just dual spam with the soldiers, clean that one up, but no actual frags have been traded in the direction of tf2easy for this Uber. Bomb coming in, Josh goes down to a headshot from Tomas, and now we're just seeing a bit of a scrap here as the rest of tf2easy are going to retreat with their tails between their legs.
Yeah, Nasboy was so low in Panic Room that entire time, and he just shows himself for 1 second and dies to one bullet from the heavy at long range, and that is the end of the push. They have to get out after that one. So Witness managing to get back in control, back onto second. They still have the Uber charge as well. They could even make this coast to coast if they have to. Like, Seeds is not really in a great position here. Tomas, he sees the opportunity, but the call isn't there. He wanted Mula to follow him. That would have been a free med kill and would have changed the momentum entirely. Instead, they're all losing their lives now one by one. They fall. That's just a huge mistake. Some land jitters between Tomas and his med pairing, and now they are back on their own last.
Oh, that was such a good opportunity. If Mula was on Tomas and they used that Uber, it would have been absolutely insane, but they just don't make it happen. It's so frustrating for the side of Witness Gaming. They could have even converted that even further, but now they're in a situation with Nubby on Sniper barreling down onto this last, but Papi is in, and he does a ton of damage and manages to kill Nasboy there inside of Roller. Oh my god, Nubby nearly finds the headshot as well onto Mula, just ducking and diving, currently holding super close, but no one is there with him, really. And they haven't got a sentry gun holding close, and it looks like a trade's going to come in here. They do use slightly later, and the flashes come out from Seed, so this Uber's going to be slightly better for the side of Witness Gaming as they're starting to pummel these players. Sentry gun does go down, they're going to swap off the Zosh class, and Ixie is back on the scout, and they have just managed to hold down this right-hand side. Bomb's starting to come in, they're playing the point. Josh is on top of it, they need to get him off of it, he's super weak, there's so much cap time. Nasboy's just going to try and run it in, but Seeds is the last man standing for tf2easy.
Oh man, that's such a tricky call to make. The chase is on Sill. He gets onto Seeds. Seeds doesn't have the serves. He gets knocked all around, and it's such a late death. 16 seconds. Bye-bye to the respawn queue. This could be a massive one for Witness Gaming now. They're already spawn camping. A massive ad. Seeds isn't even here to heal his team for another few seconds. He's going to have to roll out here. They've already got mid. They're going to get second for free here too, and they could take the push into last with the advantage still.
Yeah, Seeds rapidly healing up his players, getting everyone back to full HP ASAP. And now Witness Gaming, they're up to a 90% Uber even, so it looks like they're going to be able to start making this push happen. Going for a little bit of a strange Uber situation here. They're going to be going for IT, which is the very aggressive push, but there's already spotted out. Nice spot there from Gazzy, and he's going to retreat. Josh just going to give his life for the Uber force there. Very, very nicely done. But it looks like Tomas is adventuring into lobby as they want to kind of continue this momentum in towards last with that one pick that they have, which is kind of how they want to play it. But looks like Morale's going to be hiding off, but we do get a soldier bombing in, and Seeds does manage to surf it off and survive this one.
Yeah, that if they had known that how much ad they had, then maybe they even just keep going there, trying to have more of a committal onto Seeds before he gets his Uber up, but they just opt to go for the one sack. Nice safe play, and now Papi is he's trying to hide, but he's just been spotted out. It's a free death now, and tf2easy are going to be able to reclaim this second. They do have the cap underway. Seed still has that Uber ready for a rainy day. Mula is on 80%, so he's going to get his own, and we might see it even up between mid and second. There's still 10 minutes in the game. It could all be to play for, but tf2easy, they want to go fast off this. They're at least getting into mid while papi is down. It's a smart move. Now they can take this fight. papi is going to be respawning late into it, and they do find Thomas right at the start of the fight. Ixie's checked down low as well. This is so nice for tf2easy. They're just crushing them, forcing them, funneling them out of the choke, and they just found mid for free off nothing.
They only had one pick there, and it was a papi respawn who actually came back to the fight, but they were all on the low ground. They gave up all of that space by choke, and they couldn't do anything against it. Josh is going in super high, super fast, onto the medic, lands a bit of damage, and Nubby gets in and gets Moolah! He takes him down. Ixie does find the pick onto Nubby, but they lost their medic, and Seeds now has full advantage to play with.
Yeah, they just need to keep Seeds safe here, and it doesn't look like Witness even want anything to do with it. They're running back. They're going to set up the last hold already. Absolutely no presence on second here. Domo's setting one trap. Everyone else is full attention on last. They want this level 3. They want the pyro, the sniper, whatever else they want to add as the seasoning. But end of the day, this could be where we find 1-1 finally. They do have a bit of presence again now here on second as Sil jumping forwards. He is going to take a lot of damage from Josh, and they actually find a frag onto papi. Nubby will get traded out by that trap from Domo that he set up in PC earlier, and they are just barreling forwards here through one. They do not want to let anyone escape. They've run this one in. Sentry gun is still up. Second still isn't capped. This is a bit sloppy here. tf2easy starting to play the point now, but the heavy's already up. They've both taken one half of the last. They need to start walking forwards, and Mueller's going to get this Uber soon too. I don't think this is the one. tf2easy, they're just throwing their lives away. They have people on point, but it's not quite enough. The bomb at the end from Nubby. He's going to find Mueller, but that's all they have.
Nasboy going to get cleaned up there right at the end, and oh good lord, tf2easy really struggling there. As soon as they got in, like you mentioned, they just did not cross over. They needed to continue that momentum forward. They needed to just run at them and just throw their lives away for it. But Witness Gaming holding on to that push there, I think it was probably the best maneuver they could have made. Just get those defensive off classes set up just so early, because they knew it was going to happen. A very, very nice read from tf2easy.
Oh my god, those rockets,
what a rocket onto Ixie to clean him up. Domo gets caught in the choke as well, and now it's looking terrible for Witness Gaming. They're going to have to go back to last.
Talk about soldiers stepping up. Josh, this game, man, double uphill direct onto Ixie just to completely instantly frag him on mid, make them have to turn out and run. That is so good. And of course, his drop air shot earlier. Josh has been really stepping up so far. And again, time and time again, they get into last. Josh pops Mueller up in the air. It's the chip from the scattergun that finishes it. But it looks like tf2easy are having to run anyway. Seeds is so low.
He does get the pack. It looks
papi's
like he's
blocking his exit.
papi's in. Can he find the rockets? No, absolutely.
What a surf. Seeds ends up on top of the grill on mid. Nicely done.
Yeah, that's what happens when you watch Seeds, man. He just manages to hit all of those serves. So heading back in through the choke is the side of tf2easy. They're going to be trying to take this one in and get on the second. They are desperately trying to get around on the board here. 6 minutes remaining. They managed to drill down 4 minutes off this clock, but they have full Uber. Looks like it's going to be one once again for this push. Favoring it time and time again. The Uber comes in, and they're just going to try and run into the sentry gun, but play the point this time around, but the sentry gun is currently up. They have to kill this one off, and they do so. Ixie's gun going down. Thomas on the right shutter on that heavy. They've got players bombing on the point. Cap time is beginning to come in. The soldier bombing in. The heavy is just there. Nasboy is down to 36 points of health, and they go down and they all wipe.
Yeah, Witness never quite had everyone in spawn at the same time. There was always something that was blocking the point and something that they had to be worried about fragging. Domo trapping up this door. Do they expect it? Oh, he gets a 3K! Massive! They walk out of spawn and they're not expecting anything. Domo could have just turned this round around. Here he goes into second already, putting some spam into the rest of the players who are here trying to face him. Nasboy is stuck. He doesn't even know! He's clueless! He's completely clueless! He must die here, surely.
No, he's still alive for the time being. He's like a bull in a china shop. Now he's dead. Absolutely deceased. Thomas is there. But oh my god, what a play from Domo there, picking up those players. But Mueller still has his full Uber out to play with. With Nasboy with such a late death, this will be a free walk-in. They just use this Uber out. Morale swaps back off. They got Gazzy on the high ground as heavy, but they need to get on this point. The cap time's coming down. There's so much time, and they get the round. That's going to be 2-0 to Witness Gaming.
That is a tragic round. That is not a mistake you can be making at LAN in these high-pressure situations. You just got wiped, and their demo lived. Of course he's going to be going forwards fast. They had so many stickies on that forwards, and none of them expect it. They just cluelessly walk over all three of them going down. This is a super fast rollout from Nubby, but unable to find anything. Domo rolled out the wrong way, and still, what a shot.
What a shot from him, but Domo just just does do a Moolah, so looks like Josh and Seed's also going to be going down here. Nasboy on low HP, 111 health, and looks like Moolah has managed to survive this mid-fight, so it's going to be Nasboy, the only one left alive. Morale's desperately scrapping against Domo in a scout versus demo, but who gets the pain
he brings the pain train, baby. Nas though, oh, Mullah's on the rail. Oh, he nearly was on the roller there. He could have gone down just at the very end, but he does manage to survive it. And honestly, the Witness that we just saw in that mid was so different to the struggling one we've been seeing for so long. The bomb is in from Nubby as well, trying to block them from getting in through the choke. And yeah, Witness have turned this around. I don't think that's tilted tf2easy, but I think it's definitely been like a mental buff for Witness to win around in that way.
Yeah, they're probably up in fire right now. Looks like they're running in towards Last Thomas, leading this Uber charge out. They're going to be pelting it in towards the spawn door. There are stickies currently on the point. They need to be cleared, but there's not a soldier there to actually clear them. So they're just going to have to wait until they kill everyone out on this last, and they are finding kills. It looks like Morale's weak. Nubby also weak. Gazzy's out the pyro once again. Gets the reflect kill onto Salentes. Trying to burn down this scout. Eventually gets cleaned up in the end, but it looks like tf2easy slightly coming out on top, unless it can be salvaged. Papi is currently up on the high ground, but Nubby is there. Does shoot down onto them. Lots of damage has been dealt, but these dual soldiers, Papi just waddling around this point.
If he gets
going
seeds
for a bomb.
if
he gets seeds! I can't believe it. How does this man do it?
They can't be letting him just sit around there, pressure them for so long. There's two soldiers on the floor. You've got to flush Papi out of there. He was just able to sit there on low health, finally gets bowed by Moolah, and is still able to jump around and get a frag onto the medic. You've got to be punishing Papi for being alive on last at the end there. And now with 3 minutes left, once again, Seeds has gone down. That was their one opportunity they had to get off last, and now they're just pinned there in a death grip of Witness here on second.
No engineer in sight. Not a heavy in sight, but a Gazzy Pyro in sight once again with that power jack to give them that movement speed. Probably to be a little bit aggressive here, but it looks like Papi trying to hold nice and close, trying to stop players from coming in. Has been spotted out by Nubby and is going to get spammed down a little bit. Josh is going to pincer him, but he does find a 1-for-1, so that's pretty good. We've got Salentes bombing into one as well. Does take a bunch of damage himself, but good damage onto Seeds. The rest of Witness Gaming are going to try and take lobby, but they had to use out this Uber charge because there was a lot of pressure, but Seeds has got his 60% Uber. And there is 2 minutes left, so it's looking very rough for tf2easy right now.
Yeah, I mean, they have to win this round at the earliest possible convenience and roll off of the next mid-fight, and they haven't really been winning those mids so far. Sil will find Nasboy as well, which is going to put an end to this push. That makes it a hell of a lot more difficult as they do start rolling onto the Spire from the side of Witness Gaming. They're just trying everything they can to get it capped up. Gazzy's reflecting the spam to keep them off of it. Thomas does get bombed and go down. The Uber is out from tf2easy as well. They are chasing down Domo here. He does get a bow as well. Moolah's bows are keeping everyone alive. He gets the pack too, but eventually will get burned down. There's a back cap now. ×2 on the point. Sil's going to be joining shortly enough as well. They are just 2v2ing here on second, and even if they lose this Witness, that's completely fine. This is all a delay play. They do even get morale with it, but they've just run this clock down so much. It looks like it's GG. It is going to be Witness through to the upper bracket final, and tf2easy knocked down. They've got one more life, but they are on the edge now.
Yeah, they're going to be going down to that lower bracket, which is going to be a tough run for them by the looks of things, but I'm sure that they will try and muscle through. They're going to look at these demos probably after this game and get it through, but we have got a bit of garbage time, 1 minute left on this clock, so let's see who can get some nice frags. So Gazzy's deciding he's staying on Pyro, and has got more frags on Pyro, it appears, than he has done this entire game on Scout. Salentes bombing in towards Seeds. Good damage has been dealt. Can he clean him up? Looks like the answer is yes, and Seeds gets cleaned up by Sil.
Yeah, I mean, there's 40 seconds left on the game, and what do you think is running through tf2easy's mind right now?
You need to look at these demos, man. They're probably going to be looking through their brains, trying to decide what went wrong, especially when they lose on their own map pick on Snake. Whether it was, like they mentioned before, where it was like, you know, Snake Water was a confident map for them that they did pretty well against Witness on, but in general, it just looks like Witness Gaming just rolled them over.
Even on this map, I mean, Process, they know that they had so many opportunities to win this one. It was 1-0 in the first 2 minutes of the game, Lucky, and then we had another 26 minutes of 1-0. And in that time, they had so many opportunities, so many attempts that it could have gone so slightly differently. Nice shot from the route at the end there as well, but
nice one right at the end.
Anything they did differently could have made this game a 1-1 rather than a 2-0, and they could still be alive up here in the upper bracket.
Yeah, I mean, all they had to do was play better at the end of the day. I mean, you know, Witness Gaming, excellent game from them. I mean, they definitely played their slower approach to the game. I thought it was going to be a lot faster with process and stuff. So, you know, it's very surprising not seeing Witness Gaming just do a massive role, which is what, you know, we kind of expected from them.
Yeah, well, that does set us up for the dream matchup, EU versus NA in the winners bracket final. That is going to be an exciting one closing our day today. What are your initial thoughts going into that one? Now that you've seen Witness, I mean, both of the scorelines were fairly comfortable, but the gameplay wasn't, I don't think. Do you think they have the edge over Fro after seeing that?
Yeah, there were some mistakes coming out from Witness that I'll probably highlight on the panel, but it was like, you know, they were still executing their game plan. We saw 2 of extremely close games against Froyo yesterday with Witness Gaming. So, I mean, if they've gone away and they've done their homework yesterday and they've looked at what went wrong with Froyo, then there's every reason that they can be able to take this one if they can adapt to what Froyo are throwing at them. What do you think? Do you reckon it'll be good?
I mean, I've still got to go with Froyo. Froyo's gameplay has just been so strong. I don't think that we would have seen the same results from these games if it was Froyo versus tf2easy. Like, I don't think Froyo Tech are getting stuck in that rut for 25 minutes of process, just being unable to find another round. I think Froyo would have dispatched tf2easy pretty quickly there. So, you know, I hate to root for the Americans against against my 4-Brit team, but I do think Froyo are going to have the edge coming into that.
Yeah, they seem to be looking pretty strong on Froyo. I'm excited to see how they do. So, you know, but yeah, like you mentioned, you're gonna be public enemy #1 now as a caster. You know, rooting for the Americans.
Look, I'm not rooting for them.
Not rooting for them, but preferring them. You know,
I'm being the smarter guy. Okay.
Yeah, the smarter guy. Yeah. I think Witness Gaming were looking pretty good on process in the end. So, you know, it might be something that Froyo are going to look at in the future. They're going to be like, oh, God, these guys Witness Gaming, they're looking pretty good. But we can get more of that probably from the analysis panel, so we're going to chuck it over to them.
Welcome back to the analyst desk, and well, hooked up with microphones. It feels like a karaoke session here, Cadus. Yeah. Ebony and Ivory, what's your go-to?
I was going to ask you the same question.
All right, okay. Well, walk me through and sing, I guess, me about the praises of Witness Gaming. It was kind of scrappy, actually, a little bit scrappy on this process map, and that's a bit strange because it was their pick.
Yep, this was like, how do I say this? This was a pretty abysmal 30 minutes from Witness Gaming. And I'm not saying it was a terrible game overall or anything like that, but I'm you know.
I know what you mean. They were lucky to get that round to kind of like, you know, shunt them in their position.
Yeah, like, I mean, okay, let's break it down in how it was. They won a mid. They converted that round with a surprise 1 push. Like, typically teams are pushing through another door. They came in 1 and didn't have to mess around with the whole problem of pushing last that often happens. They're up 1-0, and then it's just 20 minutes of tf2easy failing last pushes, essentially. Like, it's a pretty dredgy, like, tepid game for the most part. Like, just kind of back and forward. No team can win 2 fights in a row up until this huge Josh airshot moment. And that's the time when tf2easy could finally get to the point of pushing last, and they just failed 3, 4, maybe 5 last pushes, which is the opposite of the previous map, where actually Witness failed 4 or 5 last pushes. tf2easy were actually in the control for about 20 minutes of this and just could not do a single thing with it. And Witness were powerless, or maybe not powerless. They had the 1-0 lead, so they didn't really have to do that much. But I don't think they could have if they wanted to, because the only thing that eventually got them really back into the swing was this Domo spawn camp, and this was horrendous from tf2easy. I'm sorry, but Witness literally got off the cap, got off the CP2 cap, stopped capping. They were like ×4 into 0, not capping. So it's like, of course they're on mid. Like, this is a known play that you do. And tf2easy just walk into it. And it's this 3K from Domo that gets Witness actually flowing again. But in the end, Witness getting the job done.
So obviously they brought process in and to like potentially maybe add it to their like little kitty of map pools that they can pick at now. I'm not convinced. Do you think the teams might be convinced themselves? Do you think like they might look at it as like, well, of course we're going to be rusty on process? Are they fixable things that they're doing here? Or was it just overall like very out of character play from everybody?
I think if Witness were not winning already in this game, I think they would be like, I think we would see a totally different game. I'm not saying we would see a better game from Witness. It could go either way, but this is a thing that can happen on process in the European meta, where a team has a lead, even with a 5-minute round timer, like a team has a lead and is just quite happy to chill on it and is just kind of playing poorly, but they're able to just kind of ride their 1-0 lead all the way through. But if they had not had that 1-0 lead, we would have seen them taking more risks. I mean, they were making so many mistakes, but they would have been forced to take more risks effectively if they had not already had one round. So we would have seen a very different game, and I feel like it was just a rut, you know. Both teams in a way were stuck in it. TF2easy got unstuck first, but then they got stuck in a new rut of being unable to push last. But overall, I feel like both teams were stuck in a rut in that second round, pardon me. But I mean, you saw it, like after we got out of that rut again, we go back to mid, witness destroy on mid, and I didn't actually I watched, but I wasn't really focusing on the garbage time. Like, they could have easily got a third round, you know what I mean? But it was just a rut that it ended up stuck in.
All right, tell me about these last points a bit more, because obviously we spent a long time looking at them, so we better start talking about them. There was times they were really pushed to the edge on Witness. It didn't look like they had things in control at all times for these last pushes and stuff like that. Was this, I don't know, what would you rate these sorts of last pushes? Was it TF2easy kind of dropping the ball? Was it Witness dropping the ball?
I mean, the most egregious ones are, I'm again going to go back to that moment where Josh hit this air shot on CP4 or CP2 from Witness's POV to drop Müller, and they get basically a full Uber ad situation, and when they finally get to last, they spend so long getting in that Witness are actually able just to get Uber for themselves, and that happened multiple times where Witness were able to just get an Uber at the end of the push. They were just able to bunch up on their left side. TF2easy would just bunch up on a right side, and Witness would just vibe on left, and they would get Uber and just be able to hold with that. There was numerous things going wrong, but that was the most egregious, because after that Josh air shot, you know they're feeling good, you know they have momentum, you know they're confident, but then just inexplicably slow to get in and paid the price.
Well, there's still some things we can find out from these two teams, and we can actually send it over now to our interview team over on the spot. I think we've got Domo here ready to answer some questions here. What was going on in that game?
Hello, and we're back in the BYC area, and we've literally just had the end of Witness versus TF2easy. Witness has emerged as a champions in two pretty confident maps, and we've actually got a quick little interview with Domo. Congratulations, you guys are looking confident today.
Oh yeah, it's going really well actually. I don't think we dropped a round yet actually, have we, today?
I don't think so, no. I saw you guys preparing against TF2easy, checking some demos, some stuff like that. Would you say that kind of led towards your win here?
Yeah, I'm not going to give you too many details, but it definitely helped. A couple of things like last holds and etc., like how not to get forced and how to hold doors better and stuff like that, yeah.
Fair play. Well, obviously, as a result of that win, you've now got your rematch versus Froyo coming up in order to potentially get a guaranteed spot in the grand finals. You've clearly prepared versus TF2easy. How are you feeling about that rematch versus Froyo?
I mean, it was super close yesterday, and if you ask me, I think we choked. It wasn't them playing better. So, yeah, looking forward to it. I think you'd be surprised.
Excellent, good stuff. I love to see the confidence. Love to see you guys enthusiastic for the land. Well, obviously, congratulations. Good luck in your rematch, and yeah, we'll be catching you a little bit later.
We'll get some food.
Cool, perfect.
Right, thank you.
What do you think to that, Kato? What do you think to that? They were choking a bit against Froyo. Froyo aren't good, they're just bad.
I mean, of course, there's always two perspectives on these kind of things, but I think Domo may have a point, but they really know what's happening in the mumble, so to speak. Like in the mumble comes how the team feels. But from my eyes, I said as much on the rollout this morning or at the start of the show today, it felt like those games, particularly Viaduct, were witnesses to lose, and they did lose them, and I felt like it was largely the occasion getting to them. Not the occasion of
EU
so
actually doing decent on the Viaduct map.
Yeah, just like the occasion of, oh my God, you know, because this is, we're talking about a core of players. Subtract Salentis from the equation. We're talking about a group of players that have never been in a LAN final. Some of them, half of them have not been in a LAN lower final, let alone like a grand final, and they're potentially looking at defeating, like an all-time great core. And I think that just got to them a little bit. So, I think Domo has a fair shout to say that. But of course, like I said, there's always two perspectives. And I'm sure there's situations Froyo will look at and say, oh, well, we threw that round to let them in that situation in the first place, So that's why we have like these teams play like 3 times, so we can be sure.
Now, it does beg the question, though, in the next game coming up against Froyo Tech, the pressure's turned up ever so slightly. Are you expecting more mistakes coming out of them, or do you think they'll thrive a bit more under the pressure now?
I think it's difficult to say. I think they will. I think they will not. I don't think they'll have the same problem. I feel like Froyo are going to progress. I always say this: like you can progress and evolve as a team over a LAN so much.
That's a good point. Yeah.
That I feel like I don't really see Witness like choking in this way again. I think they've experienced that now. They're not like they don't have a weak mental game at all. I think they've experienced that now. They know kind of like, oh, maybe they'll let the noise behind them get to them, you know, because there was a lot of people, you know, with the generic like chants behind them. I think they'll know that situation now and won't let that affect them. But like I said, Froyo will be evolving their game. They will have gone home. They will have checked the demos. They will have, you know, cracked today. And they're not going to be playing exactly the same Froyo team. And Froyo are not going to be playing exactly the same Witness. So I don't think they'll choke again if that's really what happened. But they're going to still have a tall task.
Yeah, you know, it's about who grows quicker, I guess, in the tournament as it goes along. Anyway, well, it's been a fantastic little panel here, Kado. It won't be our last, but it will be our last here for our upper bracket round 2, and we will be going away now, but tune in soon. We're going to have more community highlights here in the coming time, but until then, don't go away.